everyone, welcome to another Critical Critique Streamerino. We're back again.
Yeah. Too bad those
You like-
transitions are
Oh, yeah?
keep messing up. It's
Yeah,
odd.
it just doesn't want to work. It just never wants to work. Your fancy transitions you spent
The first
20
one
hours
never wants to
working on.
work.
Yeah,
Hey,
the first one
Shock.
never wants to
First time I see you chatting, at least, unless you
Yeah,
change
we
your name.
got Shock, Samu, we got Joshua, we got 650, we got all the usual faces, which is good. So Ellie, you like video games,
This
right?
is actually also the wrong thing, right? We need to go to
Oh
preamble.
yeah, you've got we're washed out because we're on the wrong one. Oh look, see that one works.
Yeah,
that one works.
It's the
Look
first
at that.
time. It's the first one that always fails for
It's
for
some
old reason.
Yeah. So anyway, you like video games, right? Video games.
I like video games. I've been enjoying.
Guess
my
what? Video games are dead again.
No.
They keep dying.
I just played Noita 5 minutes before stream.
Listen, there's 500 videos on YouTube right now about how video games as a medium are dead. There are no creativity, zero creativity, all dead. It's a dead medium.
I kind of think more that the game industry, more videos about how game industry is dead with all the layoffs and failures of Game Pass and whatnot.
No, gaming is dead. You don't understand. Right. Maybe the video we'll watch today is going to help educate you. You're going to become educated on how video gaming is dead.
Speaking of video games, Nretsew, I've been, I don't know, maybe I forgot to mention last week, but I have actually been playing quite a couple of video games. You know,
I did. Oh boy, more than one, more than zero. That's impressive for this stream.
I have played some Helldivers again. It's still a good game. Yeah, still good game, still fun to play and whatnot. I've been into Hitman. I've been playing some little bit of Hitman.
The good old Hitman's. Yes, Hitman's is always good. And yeah, we're doing all right, Joshua. We're having a good day. We're having a fun morning.
Yeah, and it kind of made me realize that it's kind of the stealth game I want to play more than maybe more than an Assassin's Creed. But it's.
Oh well, that's good. That sounds good. I mean, I've been War Thunder grinding personally. I've been getting into my BVR. Been doing a bit of stuff in my Eagle because I'm trying to get this fucking Eagle that's got the radar missiles in the Japanese tree. But it's taken a while. But I've just been chipping away at that and.
Yeah, also I've been.
I would be playing other games and I would be doing other things, but work's picked up for me, so it's kind of like, fuck.
No, I also have picked up again Unicorn Overlord.
Yes, I saw. Yeah, if you guys didn't catch Ellie's.
Yeah.
Did you pick your waifu? Did you finally pick which one?
I didn't. I overcame.
That was the point of the stream. You were gonna pick your waifu, Ellie.
I did, but then more choices came up, and it was a hard decision to make.
God, I was. We're stalling for time because this is going to be a short video, so we're stalling for time in the preamble. But what was I going to say? Fuck, I've lost it now because it was talking about waifus, right? I was talking with someone in DMs about an idea for a game. People will be mad at me because it's an NTR game.
Oh no!
I don't know if you've ever heard of what are they called? There's like these boyfriend games for mobile that are like, it's like a message app and the boyfriend, like it's like for chicks, right? It's for girls, right? It's like a boyfriend app with the boyfriend.
I don't know what you mean.
Stuff.
Kind of a semi AI gather your responses.
It's not. I don't know if it's AI. Like, I don't know if the first iterations of it were AI, but they're like, I can't remember what the names of these games are, but I've seen them, right? Where part of the gameplay is like there's a messaging app, and then the boyfriend like is like, oh, I love you or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And I was talking with this guy about like, what if we made like an NTR version of that, where it's like played perfectly straight. You've got the girlfriend or the waifu or whatever, but you're getting cucked. How funny that would be.
I don't. The problem is,
I think it would be interesting.
The thing of NTR, right? I think the most you get out of it is when you kind of empathize with not really the person who gets anti-art, but more the process of the other person being anti-art. The end despair of the protagonist kind of is more, well, not really. He's not even a protagonist.
You need to see the glazed, broken eyes of your enemy as he gets cut.
But that's more a end result kind of deal, right? That's kind of a conclusion. It's more of a from what I can feel, is that it's kind of more a measurement of how far gone the protagonist of the story is, the actual person.
It's interesting because I talk with this other guy and he's actually into his NTR, right? And he would say that it's not about that, which is the fascinating thing. Because to him, it's more like he's more into the whole stealth sex aspect of it, right? Where it's like the guy doesn't know, right? Where it's like things are changing around him and he doesn't know. So one of the things, like, for this idea of like the text game is like she's texting him or whatever and sending selfies, and there might be like the fucking bull in the background or whatever. And then she's starting to dress a little bit more scantily. Ooh, what could that be for?
All right, yeah, that's kind of still fits within what I feel.
What about
the appeal of NTR is?
Yeah, I mean that's right. Like that's like when I've talked with this guy, that's what he's mentioned the appeal is, right? It's like there's like a corruption element to it almost, you know. And of course, this is the only show on YouTube where you'll get people having an intellectual discussion
about the appeals of NTR.
Yeah, because everyone else just loses their fucking mind, right? Like they see NTR and they just fucking like have a fucking panic attack because, oh no, how could dare you
downfall of society.
Oh no, it's so bad, right? But then you'll have us and we'll be like, with our little top hats, right? Fucking monocles will be like, the appeal of NTR is the slow corruption of the maiden. And how the person being NTR does not recognize that their waifu has become
actually
a slut.
The reader is more intent on sympathizing with the female in this situation more than the male. The male is more of a barometer, a gauge of how far it's gone, and his attempt
That is a fine point, good sir. But no, it's just because we're making memes about you having VN, as someone in the chat put it, you're having a realistic panic attack when you try to pick a route in your VN. And that made me think of, like, imagine if you had Unicorn Overlord and it's like, you pick your waifu and then it's like, oh, you cheat on your waifu. and then you get found out. You have a whole fucking quest line.
Samu very graciously came to watch the stream for 2 hours.
Oh, that was nice of him. That was nice. Yeah, I was at work, so I couldn't.
Yeah, but no, but the real barrier for me in Unicorn Overlord was that it, you have your units, right?
Yeah.
You have your characters, and you put them together as a unit. And the struggle is Nretsew. You have all these characters that you like. And some characters are very cute together, so you want to put them into the same unit, but it isn't optimal for combat. So it's a real struggle against optimizing them for combat, and they're so cute together.
Yeah.
So that was a struggle, besides the struggle of picking a waifu, but I have a person in mind to marry Elaine. But I've gotten over it. I'll just enjoy the cute interactions until I actually have to pick a marriage character, and then I'll pick maybe the one I think I have in mind.
I saw the thumbnail, Ellie, and I'll admit I wasn't intrigued, but it's appreciated CC is stretching out its legs to get more people to the party on Saturdays. Oh yeah, that reminds me. I didn't tweet out the stream shit. Forgot. Oh, whatever. Doesn't matter. We don't need those Twitter people anyway. They're not real.
No, actually, I did come across an article on the internet that says, "Is Twitter real?" And I've not
It's too
tempted to
real.
send it to you, but
I did see Pippa did a stream about the whole dead internet theory. I don't know if you're familiar with dead internet
no,
theory.
but I kind of, you know, osmosis. I kind of feel I know what it's kind of about, but
it's kind of like it's a bit conspiratorial, but it's
oh no,
basically it's this idea that people like so there was a time when there was a lot of people online, but those people die, but their accounts remain, and people are using those accounts as like, it's like there's this weird thing about bots where most people are dying and all that's left are bots, right? They've replaced the people that are dying, right?
yeah,
So like you know how you go on Xbox Live and you look at your friends list and you have that one friend who's like last online 2,698 days ago or something like that, right?
yeah,
So it's like that person is dead, but then there's a new person that shows up that replaces the old person, but the people getting replaced are not real, right? They're just fucking flesh automatons or they're bots, right? And Pippa wasn't like fully on board with the whole thing. Like it sounds a lot more like a creepypasta when you read the actual original 4chan post. So it's not quite, you know, I don't know if it's compelling or not.
yeah. I
But it
have.
is an interesting idea, and I do think that there is an issue of, you know, most of the people you're interacting with on Twitter are probably not real.
I have to
They're
be honest. I'm
probably not
looking at the
real.
people who are in my Steam friends list, and now I
Yeah.
have one person who was last online 600 days ago. I have a person who was last online 500 days ago. I have another person who was last online 450 days ago. Here's one problem, Nretsew.
Yeah.
Those are all the longest people offline in my friends list.
Right.
Secondly, they're all my family members, and I know they're alive.
But
I have seen
yeah, no.
them.
So So that was the gist of it. So it's kind of like when we're talking about like Twitter not being real, kind of reminds me of that, because I think there is definitely like there's definitely a lot of that going around in terms of. It's why I mentioned, I think, in that last stream, right, where people need to stop just responding to everything, because 9 times out of 10, that dumbass posting engagement bait is probably not real. It's probably just a bot
Yeah,
that's just trying to get
I
likes and
got.
clicks and shit.
All right, I don't have the tweet up anymore because I deleted all those. You know my rant from a few weeks ago about how terrible Twitter is.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
is
Well,
another.
your most recent one, because you've had more than one.
Yeah, but with examples that time, right? I
Yeah.
saw the same guy, one of those guys. I saw the same guy tweet again, and that was something to the effect of blah blah blah. You know, what was the guy from some young woman at work decided to fall in love with me. No, thank you, or something.
Yeah.
It was kind of this, you know, kind of weird. Then now there was another tweet that Twitter thought was good for me. There was the same Twitter guy that said, "A breakup is not something you decide and inflict on me. You have to talk to me to and have me to agree to break up. It's not. It's not."
See, my Twitter's fine because I go on there right now and I see some art from ZZZ, so that's getting retweeted.
Yeah, but that's my.
And then I
Turn
go
sounds
down, and what are people talking about? They're talking about DEI stuff.
Nretsew, I don't want.
About?
I like I said before, right? I have a very narrow thing I want to see on Twitter, and everything that's outside of that interest gets banned by me. But I discovered Nretsew, that guy's a parody. The guy I just mentioned.
Oh, he's a parody man.
Yeah, but I don't care.
Okay.
It's still something that's not in my interest, so get banned.
Yeah, get out.
Anyway, let's go to the video.
Man. Yeah, it's video. It's game time. We should talk about video games and how they're dead, because creativity is dead. Creativity is dead. There is no creative games ever. They don't exist.
Have you seen
Zero
Kunitsugami
creativity.
by chance?
What was that?
Kunitsugami? Path of the Goddess?
Maybe.
All right.
I don't know. But
It's a
anyway, yeah, we've delayed enough, so it's time to let me get my mic in the right position, because it's always annoying to do this because I have to like twist my head. There we go. I have to twist the mic boom right in there, so I'll make sure it gets the sound. Nothing like a good boomer juice in the morning. So yeah, I can't even remember when we added this one to the queue.
It was 1 week carried over, so it's even older than.
Yeah, so it's even older. Yeah, it's an old one. And yeah, Ali. Yeah, I don't even remember why we added this one. But Ali wanted a short video this week, so we're doing a short video.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, maybe another week we'll do a longer one to make up for the fact we've done 2 short videos in a row. We'll just check the chat before we get into it. Did Internet Theory has a backing now with AI? Yeah, it depends on which layer of web one browsers. Monster Energy White right after waking up, asking for a heart valve malfunction. Hey man, look, I've been drinking this shit for. No, it's not right. The trick is it's not actually right after I wake up. I usually wake up at like, I don't know, half an hour before the stream, and then I have like a wake up period, and then I get on Discord and chat with Ellie.
Ooh, that still sounds right after you wake up to me, but it's
Nah, it's fine. But anyway, let's hear about how creativity's dead, shall we?
Yeah.
Gaming isn't dead, but creativity is. You've probably noticed that the modern AAA gaming space is filled with the rehashing of old material, from remasters to remakes to reboots, and constantly getting sequels. And even with those sequels, they just keep on re-releasing old content from their previous games. Originality, talent, and genuine care are all extinct in the AAA space right now. But a lot of
Tales of Cold Steel?
So,
or was that something else?
I think it was Tales of something. No, I think that was yeah, it was Tales of something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so half a minute in, and we're off to a good start, I guess. Because it seems like the very same old. Oh, the AAA, and it's like, yeah,
but
I don't
right,
disagree.
So he showed off Metroid Prime for a second, right? Because I guess Metroid Prime got a
There's a sequel,
remake,
I guess, a remaster, remake, sequel, yeah.
Yeah, but first off, I think that's kind of fine, and for a second reason, it's not really a. This is kind of technical, right? Background info. The Metroid Prime it says it's a remaster, but it's actually a remake.
Right.
That was made for Retro Studios to ease themselves back into making Metroid games. So it was not even really a big how do you say, a commercial project. It was more of a training project that got a release to the public.
Yeah.
So that's kind of when you get into these specific examples, and for actually the Metroid one was like I said, a training project that got a release to the public, and whatever was whatever. So you if you kind of quickly can shoot at the heels of the things he's already saying that creativity is dead. Not really. It's this training thing. Of course you train on stuff that's already happened.
Yeah, but I guess instead of honing in on the Pacific example, I guess talking about it more generally, right? It's like I can agree with the overall sentiment, right? That AAA is not in a great spot right now. But it's like, yeah, just, I don't know, play Helldivers or something, bro. I don't know what you want. Like,
play Kunitsugami. It's also from.
I mean, two is great. This video predates Helldivers and like any of that from the.
Yeah, I do think it's. Yeah, maybe a little. Yeah.
Yeah, it predates Helldivers, I think. So it's kind of like I think there's like room to talk about, the whole AAA just remaking and rehashing. They're kind of entering into that Hollywood phase where it's just endless, we have to do Marvel something 2 or whatever, right? Instead of actually
but the
making
thing
something different.
is that yeah, it is true that the middle ground, the double A and the A gaming space has been eroded away. But I think it's kind of making a small comeback because
Well, more recently, there's been a comeback.
yeah, but it already was kind of making a comeback because Metroid doesn't is costing billions and billions to make.
Creativity is dead and gotcha games will save it. Yeah, I mean, we'll be talking about that later. So anyway, let's keep going because we're only a half.
Yeah, let's continue.
Individuals love to spout off the rose-tinted glasses or it's just nostalgia arguments whenever you bring up the decline of AAA video games over the last 10 years. But you'll often notice that those arguments are usually made by the same people that love to fawn over the new shiny thing. You know who I'm talking about. The consumers, who have to have the latest thing, play the latest game, and ingest whatever garbage these corporations put out. They love to say things like,
"That game is so old, bro. Oh my god, the graphics are so dated. What? No battle pass or drip feed content? I'll get bored with that in a month."
And you'd think,
okay. Interesting direction.
Well, demanding you want new things and saying you're not the consumer for new things are kind of,
kind of contradictory statements a little bit. Kind of contradictory a little bit, yeah.
In this case, right, in the consumer sense, yeah, label me a consumer for wanting new and fancy good things. But saying you're not one of them because you're demanding also new things.
I think there's a difference between wanting something new and just blindly consuming slop, right? Which I think is kind of what he's trying to get at here, where
very clumsily,
like if you're buying every Call of Duty, right, regardless of how good the Call of Duty is, right? Like you just buy, that's just your thing. You just buy Call of Duty, right? You don't care how good or bad or what the reviews are on it, or if it's just the same content every year, right? It's the same game repackaged. You don't care about the Kentucky Fried Chicken skin DLC Battle Pass pack. You have to have it because it's Call of Duty, and you have to have all of the Call of Duty. That's the kind of person I can believe is real and that he's talking about here, right? But I don't think I've ever seen anyone like actually be like, "Oh, there's no battle pass in this game. I'm going to get bored." What do you? What?
But also, I kind of question if the person you described even really exists to that degree. The people.
Well, I mean, maybe not to that degree, but I do think there are people that are just like, I mean, maybe I've seen that kind of behavior, not necessarily with like particular franchises such as like Call of Duty, or at least nowadays. I think back in the day that was more the case, but nowadays you see that more with like the Sony ponies, right? The people that play all the Sony games, right? And they'll just be like, "Oh, I love God of War and The Last of Us and the this so all the graphics. Oh, look at the graphics. Oh, there's no gameplay in these games. They're not good gameplay, but the graphic, right?" Like, or like, what was it? Horizon Zero Dawn is a good example of that, where it's like these people will gas that up, right? So I think that there is like that kind of consumer. I think I can believe exists, right? Where they just consume whatever Sony puts out, right? Because it's Sony, right? And it's good because it's not good because it's a good game. It's good because it's Sony, right?
The thing
and
is,
you notice
that
the
Call of Duty people, yeah, you said the franchises and whatnot, but yeah, but going after the Call of Duty people, the Call of Duty people aren't here. They aren't in this room. They are in another country. Are
the Call of Duty people in the room right now?
Yeah, that's the thing, right? He's complaining about a group that you don't interact with. They are separate. They are their own crowd. Like
which is kind of why I would rather like talk about the whole Sony thing, because I think that's an interesting thing to talk about, where you notice it in how they argue for their games, right? Because if you actually like Horizon Zero Dawn, right?
Mhm.
Let's say like you actually like it. I'm fairly confident that you could probably formulate an argument as to why you like Horizon Zero Dawn. Like, oh,
Oh, I like
look,
the
I
upgrades.
know
and the
no one
starter-
talks like for example, right? Let's say like I did, right? I would be like, look, I know no one talks about the gameplay, but I mean, look, here's like an example of me playing it and why I think it's mechanically deep, right? I have to think about all of this, and
You,
this.
you got
I have to plan
elemental
this out. I
elemental
have to do this.
weaknesses and
There's
hit
elemental weaknesses.
points.
I have to consider what arrow I use. I mean, I haven't played Horizon, so I don't know. But I'm just saying, right? Like, if I was defending a game that I like, right?
Mhm.
You know, I would go over this, like all of the reasons I like it. Like, if I'm talking about Girls Frontline, right? I'll talk about the lore and the story, right? I would at least admit that the gameplay is maybe not that great, but there is some fun stuff to be had in the gameplay. You know, raising up your girls. You
And
know,
that's easy, right?
getting
Defending a
the big
game
numbers. Right.
against its defending a game against its creatively bankrupt is so easy because there is always something creatively in those
my
games.
point isn't that though. My point is when you talk to the Sony ponies, they don't defend the games like that, right? When they defend the game, they go, "Oh, but it's good because look at the graphics. It's on Sony PlayStation 5. It looks so good." And then they'll show like gameplay, and it won't actually be game. It'll be like there was actually a case of this recently. Someone was like trying to show gameplay for what is it, the fucking Justice League, whatever, Kill the Justice League or whatever the fuck it's called, right? And it was like, bro, Twitter was telling you this game was shit, bro. But look at this, and it's like 50% of the video is just cutscenes with no gameplay.
I remember
he's just hyping up. He's just hyping up the cutscenes, right?
There was
and so like
I know it's another example of this. It was the comparing Baldur's Gate 3 against Spider-Man, and in Baldur's Gate 3 you were moving around with your character and setting up an attack and whatnot, and then the example of Spider-Man was a cutscene.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm talking about, right? That's kind of what I'm talking about is the way. There's a difference in the way that they defend it, right? And so that's why I think there's some merit to what this guy on the video is talking about, but I don't think he's articulated that very well, right? I think there is definitely these people out there that just defend the slop because they've been told that it's good, right? And they don't have any like actual defense for the slop. They just think, oh, it's on place. I'm on team PlayStation or team Progressive or team Rightoid or team whatever, right? And I have to defend thing that my team likes, right?
Just by chance, I have to look up the prices of games on different platforms, consoles, and I discovered Nretsew over here in the Europe. Nintendo prices games at 60, basically always. The exception being something like Breath of the Wild, which is 65.
Yeah, because that's like premium shit.
Yeah. I believe also that Breath of the Wild was 65, and maybe Smash Ultimate was 65. Over to Xbox prices of games starting really at 70. And then something like Redfall was 75.
Jesus,
and then something like Gran Turismo.
Redfall.
And then Gran Turismo or something was also like 75, and there was another game that was 80. Then let's go to Sony. Nretsew. Basically every game on PlayStation 5 is 80.
Right.
So you can, if you can buy a whole. Is it correctly? No. You are most of the way. Well, some games on Nintendo are 40, so you can basically buy another game. 2 Sony games buys you 3 Nintendo games.
Right. So Jake in the chat says, I'll pre-fire a prediction, but I think the guy's setting up a straw man of mindless consumption to disprove creativity is dead. Maybe. I haven't watched this video, so I don't know. Basically, a person doesn't like recent Pokemon games, buys them anyway because it's the latest game in the line. That's true. That is something that I've seen a lot too. I think people will say, "Oh fuck this game company, whatever, gone woke." You know, gone woke or whatever, right? And then it'll be like, "No, they'll still buy it."
Gone trash.
Gone trash. Still buys it. Call of Duty people are in the lobby right now, slurring away. Yeah. Here's an alternative perspective. Doesn't this type of argument point towards a discrepancy of people with limited and limitless access to games? No, that could be true. Yeah, it could be true.
It is odd because if you're going to something like Game Pass, I have my problems with Game Pass because it's almost unsustainable, and it also kind of commodifies, I guess.
There's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of things to talk about with Game Pass. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I don't know what you're exactly referring to, Jake, with first-party developed games. Yeah, I am it's all mostly first-party developed games, but also something like Skull and Bones was 80 on Sony.
Right.
So,
but anyway, let's see what our man's got to say.
I think that people don't say that last comment, but when Elden Ring and Hogwarts Legacy started losing its player count on Steam, these dorks were treating it as if the game was dead.
I do think, I will say, I know immediately pausing, we shouldn't do that, but I will say that fuck Game Junos, total Game Juno, Game Juno firing, okay? Because that whole, Elden Ring lost 90% of its player base, yada, 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 yada. That stuff is so fucking stupid, right? Because it's like, yeah, it's a single player game.
yeah,
People play the single player game, right? And then they finish the single player game, and then they're like, wow, that was a good game. I'm gonna put that down.
Isn't there something ridiculous completion percentage of Elden Ring of something like 20%, which is massive?
Yeah, it's like, yeah, Elden Ring single player. Yeah, that's what I mean, Samu. It's like, but when Game Journos, they do these headlines, right, where they're like, Elden Ring lost 90% of its player base in 2 months or whatever. And they don't frame it as a bad thing, but then you'll have dumbasses that are like the Sony ponies or whatever that'll be like, look, Spider-Man still has so many people playing Spider-Man, but the Elden Ring lost 90% of or whatever, right? And it's such a silly argument to have when talking about even like single player games in particular. It's such a stupid fucking argument, and I hate it.
Nretsew, Steam achievements, right? Steam achievements are also kind of a mark of how many people have played it thus far. 43%, 44% have lit the Earth Tree aflame, which is like almost at the end of the game. 44%. Next major step, I think, is that 46% has defeated Malenia. Over a third of Elden Ring players have defeated Malenia.
Right.
And then
also Goda makes a good point on the Game Pass, where it's like it's a Frosian bargain because it's the best deal in gaming right now, but it's going to cause problems later down the line.
It's already causing problems.
It's already causing problems now, yeah.
And this is a little bit harder, but 27% has gotten the Age of Stars ending, and 22% has gotten a generic ending. Repletes, new game pluses, and all the whatnot, but altogether, at least there are a lot of people have completed the game. At least 27%. That's a lot of people who have made it through a few hours long game.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm getting at, right? Is I feel like when we're talking about single player games in particular, I think it's just really silly to be like, oh, look at the player drop off. It's like, yeah, it's a single player game. There's going to be player drop off.
It only really matters when you're when you have Battleborn numbers and you start with 1,000, then you lose to 10. 10
yeah,
players.
It only really matters when it's like a game that's requires a certain amount of players to keep the fucking matchmaker working,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of the times a matchmaker needs like a certain amount of players to work, right? So, and even then, like sometimes you can have multiplayer games that have small numbers and it's fine, it works. So, you know, doesn't particularly matter too much. But anyhow, let's keep going.
Saying things like,
See, if it isn't a live service game, it dies.
as if it's a bad thing that some games can eventually come to an end. And I know a lot of you know exactly the type of people I'm describing here. You've probably met a few of them, unfortunately. And again, also, unfortunately, they are the target audience at large. The current generation of gamers that are hype beasts, blinded by the next honeymoon phase, constantly defending the corporations who, at the end of the day, only sees them as a titty to milk. But let's get into the meat and potatoes of the video. Creativity is dead. Now, you don't have to take my word for it. According to researchers at the University of William and Mary, creative scores, measured by what's called the Torrance test, have been steadily declining since the late 90s.
What the hell is this stupid test?
You see, Ali, I have a study, and I'm going to give you my study, and my study proves me correct. And I am the Giga Chad, and you are the Soy Jack. The study proves it.
Here's the problem. Apparently, is that we are spending too much time on our electronics. But games are electronics, and you make them by electronics.
Yeah, Jake's right. It's like, how's the study applied, right? You can't just like pull a study out and be like, haha, I have a study. How's the study being applied? What does
And
it
also
actually
by
mean?
who,
What are the factors involved? How do you tell if creativity is dying? Yeah, it's like, oh, so this score, right, from this university that I don't know what the methodology is for that. I don't know what they're actually measuring there, right? That's steadily declining since the 90s. Okay, great. That's good to know. But how does that actually, like, you know,
So if it's already a from the 90s, that has nothing to do with games at that point. That's when games started. You can't say that creativity is dying in games when they are apparently already dying from the moment games existed.
I'm gonna guess that he's making like a general point that, oh, creativity is dying in general, therefore games died too, right? This is kind of what I'm going on. Jake makes the point this study is published in 2011, apparently, as well. So that's also something to consider. That's something people don't consider when they bring studies out, is like a lot of studies will be old, right? And it'll be like, while it is okay if the study is well, people don't know how to tell the difference between a good study and a bad study. It's kind of the problem.
Yeah, I'm quick.
Not all studies are created equal.
I'm doing a quick reading.
Yeah,
blah blah
he's doing his
blah.
research.
6th grade test for 6th grade.
Oh
Apparently.
yeah, Jake put it in the chat, so if anyone wants to also look at it, you can go to the chat.
Yeah, no, I'm just looking at the test itself. Oh, it's based on Western cultural norms, so it may not may not adequately assess creativity in individuals from different cultural backgrounds. The test may not effectively measure creativity in the domains such as music, dance, or no other non-traditional forms of artistic expression.
Wait, so it doesn't even like it's not even good at like applying to games then, if it's not like what's a measure? What is what?
It's it looked. Blah, 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 blah.
Are you sure it's not because of bad actors who stifle creativity because they make sure it has to look yeah, making all female characters masculine butch. Yeah, that's a good point, Goda, because it's like, yeah, I can agree with that. I think that's more of what's causing the decline in creativity is the constant fucking censorious, vibe.
All right, so I'm looking at this site with this describes this test and kind of semi-promotes the test besides the criticism, and it's a business thing.
Right, okay.
It's a business. Oh, look, my workers are very creative. Now I can go to my shareholders and show this test that my workers are very creative. Now give me more money for my bonus
and
or
so
something.
That's been declining over time, right?
Yeah.
So it's not. So it's not even like like they're testing artists or whatever, right? And trying to.
Yeah, well,
It sounds like a team building
use...
scam. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I'm suddenly downloading. I just wanted to look at the art. Well, never
no.
mind. Let's
Oh, no.
continue.
Yeah, let's keep going. Let's see what he's gonna say.
And we're now in the middle of what these researchers are calling a creativity crisis, due to overstimulation and the lack of boredom. Because yes,
Wait a minute. Games, there's a lack of boredom, right? But games are bad and boring. But there's a lack of boredom. Okay, I guess.
Well,
This
is just another attention span thing.
Yeah,
which I think is kind of which I think is already a scam. The attention span problem.
You should be blaming YouTube and Twitter. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. He's blaming the wrong thing. Yeah. So anyways, keep going.
Boredom has long been recognized as the key ingredient for imagination. Boredom leads to daydreaming, which leads to creating a simulation in our mind, then figuring out a way to execute that vision. And this line of thinking has led to some of the most influential video games of all time. For example, the idea for Pokemon came about when Satoshi Tajiri revisited his childhood hometown as an adult. As a child in the 1970s, Satoshi spent hours exploring the rivers and forests and catching bugs, but 20 years later those same rivers and forests had been replaced with numerous homes and both commercial and office buildings. Satoshi thought about all the kids who were unable to explore that same nature and collect its mysterious creatures like he had, and he paired these thoughts with his own love of arcade games, and this led to the initial idea and concept for creating Pokemon. Or I think about the storytelling of the Soul series.
Quick pause. A short story from my childhood or some whatnot. I had a lot of Lego.
Yeah, Lego's based.
Lego. I always could find whatever Lego piece I wanted, right? Yeah, it's kind of maybe I realized a bit off topic, but maybe fun topic. And when I saw other people play with Lego, other children play with Lego, I was thought, why are you making such an ugly non-thing, right? It's a nothing staple of random Legos bolted onto each other. You have also seen it, right?
Yeah,
it's random.
I've seen the people playing with the Legos. Yes.
To celebrate my looking for a house to buy, I was gifted an IKEA Lego set. And I haven't been able to really use it or open it or make something out of it because I didn't have enough space in that room that I had. And it was locked in storage for a long time. But this week, I took it out of storage and decided to play with the Legos.
He's self-reporting as a Lego manual-only man.
Kinda, but I did make my own stuff. I made a very cool spaceship with Legos, without a manual. But that's besides the point. Nretsew, I made a staple of random stuff with Legos with random bits bolted onto the side. And I realized it wasn't because I wasn't creative enough. It wasn't because I was lacking creativity at all. It was because I just didn't have the pieces that I wanted or couldn't need. I had to do with what I had.
Right.
So in my childhood, when I had barrels of Legos available to me, I could build whatever elaborate piece that I want. Yeah, I built a very fancy spaceship that I'm kind of proud of, actually, that I built 20 years or plus ago. But right now, I can only really make a random staple of Legos that barely looks like anything. I eventually made a tank, but it took a lot of effort to make something.
So, looping this back around to the video, I guess. Yeah, the story of Pokemon is pretty well documented, right? Pretty well known.
I heard that
was the
Sugita
inspiration for it.
Miyamoto himself did, but everything gets attributed to him.
Yeah, but I feel like that's a good anecdote, I guess, but I don't really see how that's something that can't happen now, right? Like how those sparks of inspiration can happen to anyone at any time. I'm not really seeing a correlation between what's happening now with gaming, right? And because there's plenty of people that are having inspirations for games and doing
I mean,
all
every
kinds of stuff. So.
management type of game that you can make have some inspiration with the things you did in your own life. Nretsew, you worked somewhere, and you had to manage different things at the same time. Make a management game out of that. How easy is it for you to conceptualize a management game?
Yes, it's a strange inversion of having less can enforce the mind to see several things in it. Yeah. All right. Well,
I'm working in a factory, right? I have a task to do in a certain amount of time. Sometimes some tasks I do at the same time, because I can start one thing, quickly do another thing, and then finish the thing that I started over there. That's you could abstract it into a Factorio kind of deal that I'm doing, right? Making one product while the other one is just rolling around, and then when one product is done, it gets merged with the other. Factorio is creative in a sense of that abstraction, but you can make any management game. You can make an office management game out of that. You can make a newspaper-ish game out of that. Collect news articles, put them into the print at the correct time, etc., etc. Invest in reporters abroad. I just made up a game. Am I creative, Nretsew?
Yeah, big creation. Yeah, big creation live on stream right now. I mean, I was just talking about the NTR thing. We were talking about the NTR thing before, like creating like a game where it's like a messenger app. That seems like I mean, it's obviously not an original idea because I'm basing it off
that's everything
a pre-existing concept. But I do think that there is room to play around with that kind of thing. I think that especially with the chat GPT, because when I was talking with I love how I'm looping back to this, right? But I was chatting with this guy about this, and we were like, because he's also quite into his AI, right? And we were talking about how, because the current AI models are not great for that. Because he fucking does his best to twist these AIs to do lewd shit. Like, he is breaking the systems of, like, chat GPT and shit to get them to do his, like, NTR fantasy nonsense, right? And he's always, he's like, the way he describes it to me, or at least how he described it to me, was like, it's either way too accepting of what's going on because they don't want that, because the AI is like forcing itself to not do anything that might not be consensual, right? So it's either the NPC that he's talking to is way too into it, or it's like the complete inverse, right? There's no like in between. So when I was talking with this guy about it, I was talking about how you'd have to like kind of have like a pseudo AI system where you'd have content that was pre-made, right? Creative content that was made by a person, right? But then you would like use the AI more for like recognizing responses, right? So it would be like when you text, so instead of having like a choice A, B, and C, right? You could type in whatever you wanted, and the AI would like maybe like look at keywords of what you typed, right? So not like a full generative AI, but just a pseudo generative AI, just so that if you typed in something weird, like a different,
it kind of feels like you want a kind of a call center bot, but for your game.
Kind of, yeah. NTR call center bot. Actually, that would be a kind of an interesting idea in and of itself. Like you have like a call center girl or something.
You call her all the time, but secretly her manager.
Secretly, she's getting fucked, yeah.
By the manager, of course.
Yeah.
And he is, Nretsew. The secret is that he fucks everybody in the call center. It's a whole harem. It's a sex den over there. But you are innocently calling there.
Exactly. But this is what I mean, right? Creativity is dead, right? But we're coming up with this on the fly right now, right?
No,
yeah,
I've mentioned my game of some semis. It kind of looked like Unicorn Overlord. Funnily enough, a semi real-time game where you build. Okay, total. I base it off Total War games, but
yeah.
but you kind of instead of a big one unit of all spearmen, you kind of could mix and match, and having a big adventure with that. Eventually, in the end, it would kind of look like Unicorn Overlord, but on a bigger scale, with more units with more people in a single unit.
Right.
Well, anyway, Dark Souls is very creative.
Yeah, Dark Souls good. Other games bad. Let's continue.
Inspired by Miyazaki's childhood, where he used to read books beyond his own comprehension, where he only understood maybe half of the words, and he had to fill in the gaps with his imagination. Miyazaki wants the player to use their imagination to fill in the gaps, and piece together the puzzle pieces that he intentionally left behind. Hell, even the Souls game's multiplayer mechanics were inspired by Miyazaki's own personal experience. He notes several instances of driving up a snowy road as cars ahead began slipping back, and were then pushed uphill by other people in the area. And as Miyazaki was unable to give his thanks before they left the area, he wondered whether the last person in line at the bottom of the hill made it to their destination, as he was unlikely to ever meet them again. And this gave birth to the very impactful silent cooperation of the Souls games. These two creators, inspired by real-life experiences, took the time to ruminate about how to replicate those experiences inside of video games, and changed gaming forever. Of course,
Dark
these
Souls
aren't the
summoning
only
is
two
kind of trash.
hot takes from Ellie today.
Yeah, but it's not seamless at all. If you want to experience of a random passerby suddenly helping you, that's cool, right? That's a cool gimmick, a cool trick, a fun thing to have. But in Elden Ring, it's a whole ordeal really to get somebody to summon. You have to ask for it, you have to allow it, you have to spend a resource on it. I didn't really do much of it, so maybe you don't have the resource.
You didn't really, yeah.
But anyway, you have to deliberately say, "I want somebody to help me now." It's not that some passerby comes along.
Yeah, because I know in Bloodborne it was like you had the bell and you'd have to ring the bell, and that would like allow people to join or something like that. It was something like that. So it's kind of like, yeah, I can agree with you. I mean, I get the sentiment though, right? I get the sentiment behind it.
Yeah, but I don't really.
But anyhow,
let's
hear him gas up. We're gonna gas up New Vegas now.
Right.
It's time to. He's gassed up Pokemon and he's gassed up Dark Souls. Now we've got to gas up New Vegas.
Examples of creativity in gaming. There are in fact many examples of genius in the industry that has given us unforgettable experiences throughout the years, through either the gameplay or the narrative, or hopefully both. But you don't need some researcher out of college to tell you that
creativity. Nretsew. Witcher is based on the books. It's not creative. That is in a game.
Zero creativity.
That's all.
Nah. Anyway,
is dead. What you need to do is take a step back and really take a look at the entertainment industry today. The best games of this year, for example, so far are remakes. Dead Space, Resident Evil 4, System Shock, all good games, but they're not original. And in fact, aside from graphics,
I assume?
Probably, yeah. It was probably like last year or something. Because again, I can't remember when we added this to.
Then the Baldur's Gate was last year, or Zelda was last year, Mario Wonder.
Well, I mean, I get what he's trying to say, right? I get what he's trying to say, which is like, yeah, look at all these remakes, and yeah, they're good games, but they're not original. It's a very similar argument to an argument that I recall happening a while ago, like a few years ago with anime, where it was like, oh, there's no original animes anymore, Ellie, because there's like, it's all like based off manga or light novels or whatever, right? There's no anime originals anymore, right? And it's like, yeah, that's true. And not to necessarily defend that or defend the remakes of video games, but I think one of the actual reasons this is happening, right, is because remakes are safe, right? if you look at it from like a purely business perspective, right? From you have this company, right? And they have to make a game that's probably going to take like almost 10 years to make, right? They have to put billions and billions. Now, again, we're going to have a discussion about whether or not they need to do this or not. But this is less me like defending it and more just stating the fact of what's happening, right? This is what is happening, right? Is they're spending billions and billions of dollars on these fucking games, and they need to get a return on it, right? They're not going to risk a new IP with a new idea, right? That's not been tested and proven for something that they're going to have to invest so much time and money into, right? Which is why, Resident Evil 4, that was a game that came out like 10 years ago. That did really well. That was cool. Let's make that again, right? We have the engine, we have the technology to rebuild him, right? We can rebuild him, right? So they'd rather put those resources into something that's proven, right? Like a sequel or a remake, than put that kind of money into something that's actually original and creative, right? Because a lot of the time, like, there are a lot of original and creative things that come out, but the first thing is you don't hear about them because they fail, right? Like you don't hear about all of the original stuff that fail. Like, you only hear about either the success stories or the things that like fail catastrophically, right? Like, does anyone know what Once Human is?
Once Human is
that came out.
I know what I've heard things about it, and that gave me the idea what it is. It's kind of a, I guess you could call it a Rust thingy. Rust.
Yeah, but it came out. It came out recently. It's got mostly positive on Steam at like 40,000 something reviews on, because I've got Steam open right now because I'm trying to prove my point, right? Like, and this was like the first game that came up on my Steam. Is this Once Human game, right? I haven't heard anything about Once Human. I've maybe heard one short. I think, what's his name, Pirate Game Pirates or whatever, the guy that's in YouTube Shorts all the time, right? He had like a little short about the TOS because people were bitching about the TOS in Once Human or something, right? And that was it. I haven't heard any news about it. Haven't seen anyone talking about it on Twitter. Haven't seen anyone talking about it on my YouTube. No one's putting up, like, I haven't seen VTubers been playing it, right? I haven't seen anyone fucking play this game or anything about it. I didn't even know it fucking existed until I saw a short about it like 2 or 3 days ago. And now I've gone on Steam and I've seen it come up like once on my front page, and I've opened it for the stream. And that is the extent of me knowing about it. And that's an original IP. That's original, right? And it might be a Rust clone or whatever, but it is original, right? Can't say it's not an original thing. So this is kind of my point, right? You don't hear about something unless it's like, it's either like Helldivers, where it's fucking everywhere, right? Because Helldivers exploded, right? And everyone and their grandma knew what Helldivers was because everyone was talking about it. Or it's something that's like a Starfield, right? That's so catastrophically fucking bad that everyone would know about it anyway because Bethesda. But because it's so fucking bad, everyone just will talk about it, right? They'll lose their fucking minds about it, right? So that's why I'm kind of like, that's why I'm kind of like, I feel like there's a bit of it wouldn't be confirmation bias, but I feel like there is definitely, like, people just have these holes where they just don't see the thing that they want. you know,
but Nretsew,
they only see the stuff that they could,
All right, so Cocoon, right? Cocoon is a puzzle-ish game.
Right.
You go into worlds, and then you go out of the world and then carry the world on your back and then put the world somewhere else so you can go out of it again to carry that thing. Right, so layers and whatnot. You've never seen Cocoon, I assume?
No, I have no idea what that is.
It won some awards, but it first appeared at some, I believe, the Game Awards, and it looked interesting. Yeah. And I kind of followed it, and when I heard it got good stuff, I bought it and I played it. and I
Right.
mentioned it before somewhere, I believe. That popped up on my radar. It is a unique thing that you've never seen before, Nretsew. I can assure you of that. Yeah, it's unique. It's creative. By the same token, also Starfield is creative.
But this guy is not, and this is what I mean. This guy in the video, he's not gonna fucking know what that is. He's not gonna be out there looking for like this real. Like I'm on Steam right now, right? I got my Steam open, right?
Yeah.
New and trending, right? This is the list of games that are on my new and trending page. You got SNK versus Capcom, right? That's fair enough,
game.
right? That's a fighting game, big IP. Everyone knows about that. The very next one, Escape from the Ever After Onboarding, and it's a game that's very positive. It's got 76 reviews. It's story rich. It's an RPG adventure looking game. Right, it looks kind of it's original, right? You got Retail Company Simulator, right?
Oh, I also have that one. That one is free.
That's one I know about because I've seen VTubers play that, so I know about that one. Wings of Seduction, Bust 'Em Out, which is a roguelike with nudity, mature, and it's a shoot 'em up. So that's something, right? You've got Kitsugami, Path of the Goddess, which is that one that I think I remember like seeing at the Game Awards, or was it the Game Awards or was it something else? It was like
maybe both. It was
during the E3. It was during the E3. It was on both. Yeah, it was like I think during the Game Awards it had a trailer, and then it had it's that one that's like the pseudo tower defense thing.
I mentioned that one before.
Yeah, you've mentioned it before. So that's one that's like okay, but that's original. That's original. That's new. That's original, right? You got what's next? Then you got Space Prison, which looks like some kind of like tactical type game, turn-based tactics, kind of comic book looking, right?
Yeah.
Vampire Therapist, which looks like some Tumblr shit, but okay, I'll take it. Virtual novel, dark comedy. It's got 46 reviews, right? Dark Hours, the prologue looks like some kind of horror game, multiplayer type horror game where you're in like a art gallery or something. Strategic Command, World War II, War in the Pacific, and then you've got Dungeons of Hindenburg.
Hinterberg.
Hinterberg. Yeah, it sounds.
Yeah, that's how I would say it.
Yeah. So like just from that list of games that are on my new and trending, right? Most of those are original. I think the only one there that's not original would be SNK versus Capcom, right? All the rest of them are, original or original IPs or something that's, interesting. Put your main Steam account away. Hey, look, Sammy, listen. Look, it's new and trending, right? That's not like new and trending is not my fucking like recommendations. That Wings of Seduction thing is not my fault, okay? It is a porn game, though. I'll give it that. So it's good that the porn games do be hitting the new and trending.
I have instead of I have mostly the same stuff, but I have something like Bow, Path of the Teal Lotus, and I have Nobody Wants to Die. I also have something that's called Escape from Ever After.
Damn, this Wings of Seduction thing actually looks alright.
I have Sex City.
It's got like live 2D shit going on. It's got clothing damage system. So it's like it looks like Vampire Survivors, right?
Oh,
but
I've seen that like one pop up before on Steam. Oh, I have.
Yeah, it kind of looks like Vampire Survivors, but it's like got like you have the girl as the background, and then as you do like cool stuff, the clothes come off. That's actually kind of cool.
Actually,
I've not seen that.
I have
before.
On the top of my new and popular. I have Sex City 2069.
Do you have sex with Hitler? Sex with Hitler?
No, Sex City 2069, and it's kind of a semi-cyberpunk-ish world where everybody is just naked almost all the time.
Well, I don't know. I might keep an eye on that one because that one actually seems kind of cool. I might have to look at that one. I mean, it's got very positive reviews. It's got 85 reviews. Can't
yeah,
be
Sex
it's only
City
$16
is also
too. It's not
also has positive reviews. and it looks like the game Witcher and Cyberpunk, both games that I liked. So,
well, yeah. So there you go. It's like just like that. We found games that we might be interested in. Don't kink shame accounts. Don't kink shame accounts. Look, man. Look. I'm in. Look, you guys know me. I'm the perv, right? I'm into this shit, right? It sounds good. For my next commission work, I'll ask for wings of seduction. I mean, look, it looks pretty good. It looks pretty alright. You know, it looks alright.
yeah.
But anyway,
Let's go back to the video. Because
I guess I've made my point, right? I've made my point. My point being, like, I think that a big
OBS did disconnect for a second.
Oh, there we go. We're back. We're back. As I was saying on Twitter, I was talking with someone about this. Where in the context of anime, where you have people that are like, it was like a clip of this cosplayer, right? And she was asked by some guy with a microphone. You know how these like staged ass videos look, right? Where the guy's got the microphone and he walks up to like someone and he's like, "Oh, what a controversial opinion or whatever," right? And he's like, "Oh, what's your one thing you hate the most about anime or whatever?" And she's like, "Oh, it's the fact that it's all male harems. It's all male harems, Ellie. Every anime is just a male harem. Where are all the female harems? Right? Where's all the Yuri? Right? As we know, there's no Yuri anime ever coming out ever. Right? And I made the point that I think that part of the problem is that people, like, their knowledge of what anime does and does not exist starts and ends at what's trending on Twitter.
Yeah,
right? They don't go on like the seasonal list and then filter tag Yuri, right? And see, oh look, here's all the Yuris coming out over the next few months. I might put those in my watch later. Right?
I have my shameful hobby is watching DSP fail at things, Darkside fail at things, and he played Kitsugami for a bit.
Oh, did he?
And he didn't get any money during the gameplay, so the game is boring.
Right.
But he immediately launched into a conspiracy of, oh, the reason why they didn't show any gameplay of this game is because then people would realize it's a super boring and stupid tower defense game which nobody wants to play.
Right.
But the thing is, so he is actually the victim, Nretsew. He was scammed by not being.
He was scammed.
He was scammed because if he knew it was a tower defense game, he wouldn't play it. But because they hid they have hidden the gameplay. He's a victim. But there have been demos and big gameplay footage.
I mean, the gameplay was shown in the fucking trailers we watched at the game.
Also, just lengthy playthrough, show off the gameplay videos were put out. So instead of just, oh no, it's nowhere to be found. No, actually, it's just here. The entire thing, you can, the entire level or two, you can just see how it's being played. But in this case, DSP just sat in his room and said, no, they conspired against me to take my money for this Game Pass game that I played.
But anyway, what I'm getting at is there's these people, right, that they don't bother to like actually go look for the thing that they want. So then they see, oh, no one's talking about the thing that I want, therefore it doesn't exist, right? And I kind of likened it back to that clip that we had with Unknown, where we're talking about like anime as a social activity, right?
Mm-hmm.
People only, like, sure, in gaming it's a little bit different because there are social games, right? But I think a lot of the time it's like, what? There's no, like, are you going to get like 50 million views talking about Wings of Seduction? Right?
Maybe not.
Or are you gonna get the views talking about Call of Duty and Dark Souls and Resident Evil 4, right? You know, are you gonna have a conversation with someone about Wings of Seduction anywhere but here? No, you're not, right? So,
and all right, just maybe to finish off, right?
Yeah, because we went on this tangent.
So last season, right? Last season, good season.
Yeah, it was a good season. Yeah.
Kind of my anime of the season was Girls Band Cry. That's an anime original. It is a girls in a band. You can use. Is that creative? Maybe, but it was very resonant. It was very good for me. The best anime, so I guess it was very creative. This season, right? A little bit spoiler. Basically, the only original that I watch is Mayonaka Punch, right? The YouTuber show. And that's also an original, and I like it. I don't know if it's the best show of the season, but it's one of my top, and it's also an anime original. It also has the best OP of the season. It's a separate.
Right. So yeah, I think that it's There is creative stuff out there. You just have to go find it.
I also have to
Just
play
have to go-
Donna Donna. I have bought it, but then I haven't played it.
Yeah, I have to get onto that as well. Yeah. Oh god, I got too many fucking games I want to play. I want to get back to Reverse Collapse, but I just got.
I need to finish Unicon Overlord, and then my Hitman I never finished, so I should play that as well.
But anyway, let's keep
so
going.
many creatively dead games that we have to play.
Yeah, so many creatively dead games. Yeah, so creatively dead.
Even downgrades. Not always, but definitely some. But most AAA games completely lack any creative touch, and it leaves the games to feel a bit soulless, very corporate. And I'm not going to pretend that video games haven't always been about making money, the same as any other entertainment industry, but there has been a fundamental lack of creativity in every single category of the AAA industry today.
Oh, AAA only.
Well, yes, I was going to mention this, right? Like, he's AAA. All of these videos, they always hyper focus on the AAA, right? Oh, AAA. And I'm just sitting here going like, there's more games out there than just AAA, right? Like, there's more to gaming than just whatever slop EA or Ubisoft or, fucking Activision is shitting out every year, right? You do realize that, right? Like, you can't, like, you just, like, the video is entitled AAA Creativity is Dead. The title is, Creativity is Dead, right? You're making... I feel like they have to say AAA because otherwise the point just completely... Like, if you think about it for more than a second, right? It just falls apart, right? The argument just falls apart. Like we just demonstrated. Because you can just go on Steam and you can find hundreds of thousands of games that it might not be AAA, but they're creative. Right? So the narrative just starts to disintegrate. We were tricked by the title of the thumbnail, yeah. You can't enjoy real video. Yeah, that's the ironic thing, Gouda, right? That's the ironic thing. For all this guy's talk about the slop, right? He unironically is the slop enjoyer, right? Because he's complaining that his slop is not tasty. Right?
I can find so many people who would say that Fallout fell off when they went Bethesda first person instead of top down.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of like, yeah, I feel like the problem here is this hyper focus on AAA, as if that's like the only fucking thing, right? That exists, right? You can't.
Also, GTA, right? Everybody loves GTA.
Yeah, everyone loves GTA.
I hate GTA. GTA 2 is the best. It fell off after 2. It fell off after going 3D. 2D is where it's at. Top down.
You need to have like a AAA counter. How many times he has to say AAA, because he has to make sure he hammers that home that he's specifically talking about AAA.
And outside of that, smaller studios like AA's and indies are still producing solid products, somewhat, keeping creativity alive with games like Shadows of Doubt or BattleBit or Hades or Tunic. There are good games being developed by creative individuals, but AAA, man, man, is it bad. So what's the cause for this lack of creativity?
So again, it's like he just kind of glosses over that, though, right?
But,
he's like, there's all these games.
Yeah,
there's all these games that are still being made that are creative and they're great, right? But like, who gives a shit if AAA's a shit? Why does it matter, right? If the AAA, like, if Activision fucking crashed and went out of business and Call of Duty was dead tomorrow, I'm not gonna fucking cry about it because I don't care. Right?
And my
was
Warzone score profile.
Oh no, my Warzone. Like, yeah, I don't care. I don't fucking care. Like, if I don't know, if Square Enix, oh no, Final Fantasy's dead. That's a shame. I guess those
It's
people
kind of
that like
so
Final Fantasy.
there's some history behind that. That would be kind of
There's
a
some
shame.
history there. That'll be sad. That'll be sad, but it would be like, okay, all right. Some unicorn over. It's like, I just don't fucking understand why. Why do you force yourself to, like? Why do you care if the slop is slop? It's, why do you care if the slop is slop? Let the slop be slop.
I do see a future coming soon where games will become smaller, and the people who insist that games has to stay big will kind of drown in their own.
Well, we've been talking like we've had that conversation a few times on the stream, right, when we talk about games where I'm like, yeah, it's gonna crash. We're gonna hit the fucking entropy point at some point, right? And these big budget, high AAA games, like they're either gonna collapse in on themselves because you literally just can't get the budgets any higher, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or there is gonna be some kind of crash at some point, just because, right?
But Nintendo will live because they don't do that stuff, and
because they're not doing the same
indie
thing,
studio
right?
will just continue on without any issue.
Yeah, it's a meta to pee poo poo on the AAA, right? Yeah. God, but anyways, keep going.
Corporate interference in the creative process, trend chasing, obsessing over realism, or focusing on all the wrong things. I would say all of these are the culprit. But one thing that I often never see being brought up is the genuine lack of talent at these studios. I know, armchair game dev here, hello, nice to meet you, but I think it's important to realize that most of the studios we grew up respecting and loving aren't the same studios at all. It's like the ship of Theseus. If you replace every part of a ship one by one until none of the original parts remain, is it still the same ship? And if not, at what point does it become another ship?
So this is a bad example because if the ship still does the same thing under the same conditions, it's the same ship. If the studio still makes the same games, even though every bit of staff has been replaced, then it's still the same studio with the same studio style.
Well, I don't agree with the example of game devs. I actually do think that there is something to be said, especially because it's like, because you look at, I think Fallout is actually the best example of this, right? Because you had Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas with different teams, right? Because of Bethesda and Obsidian. The same game, the same name, very different, right? Very different in feeling, in tone, in execution, in, vibe, I guess, right? I know vibe is, but you get what I'm saying, right?
Identity.
So yeah, identity, right? And then you go back to Fallout 4 after New Vegas, and again, you compare the tone and the feel, right? And I'm kind of talking in those vague terms because that's kind of what it is. So I do feel like there is a bit of a ship of Theseus thing going on there, where the people that are creating the games, right? That are the people that, at least in certain positions, right? I think it does matter, right? It's like with anime, right? With studios. Like the studio, I think, matters less than who they hired specifically. Like, who is the director? Who is the keyframe animator? Who is the guy that's, doing this, and this, right? Because you could have like Studio Shaft or Studio Mapper or Studio whatever, but there are individuals within those studios that get tossed around to different projects, right?
I do think
and so you might have one project that, like UFO Table, right? You have like the UFO Table adaptation of, what was that Tales game, the one with the two boys, right? You have the UFO Table adaptation of that versus the UFO Table adaptation of, Fate Stay Night, and they're very different in terms of like how good they are, right? So, and that could come down to, oh yeah, even good is like, yeah, UFO Table, God Eater. Did UFO Table get fucking God Eater? I can't remember. I think they got, I think they did that. I completely fucking memory hold the God Eater I did watch a bit of it, but it's true. It's like, yeah, same studio, not, make good thing, make bad thing, right? I feel like there is I think maybe not necessarily to the same extent that the guy in the video was saying, but I do think the people in the studio does matter, right? So there is an argument to be made there.
I think that compared to anime studios doesn't really work, because anime has to make everything new every single time. You're right, those characters...
Well, wait, what do you mean by that?
Alright, so there's a lot of more institutional knowledge in a studio than there is in an animation studio. In a game studio than there is in an animation studio. Because in a game studio, you got engines, you got documentations on those engines, you got assets, you got style guides and whatnot. And in a animation studio, you have to draw this character, brand new character. You got a new anime, this new anime will look like this. And therefore, if you have to make everything new for this new character, for this new scene, for this new setting, then your identity as a creator will show up in those scenes, in the things you make new for the animation studio. But for a game studio, you already have an engine, you already have those assets.
See, I mean, Goda brings up the Blizzard example, and that's actually kind of why I don't agree with you. Because Blizzard from 20 years ago is very different to Blizzard now, and it's specifically because a lot of the old people that worked at Blizzard went off and made their own, they either went off and made their own companies, or they went off and started doing their own things.
Yeah, but
right?
you can still identify...
And then those people get replaced, and then even the corporate people get replaced with new corporate people, changes the corporate culture, changes the way that it works, right? And so suddenly it's not the same company anymore. Just because a game has Blizzard on the label doesn't mean that it's the same Blizzard that was making World of Warcraft.
No, but I don't think comparing to an animation studio really works, because animation studio makes everything new every single time, while game studios can borrow from their
No, but I do think, well, hang on a minute. I agree on some extent, but I do think that different directors have, like, there's a reason people like Bucci, right? Gennaro Bucci, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason he has like people call him the Butcher, right? Because he makes these animes that, he has a specific directing style, right? That's recognizable in his works that he works on, right? So I feel like there is some level of individual mattering within the studio. Even if they're creating something new every time, there is like some style that carries over, and that's why I'm saying that the person matters, is what I'm saying, right? The people that work in the studio do actually matter. And if you swapped Gennaro Bucci out for a different director on the same show, the show's going to turn out differently, right? Because it's a different person at the helm.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm not saying it makes no difference. I'm just kind of feeling that game studios have more of a institutional knowledge base than animation.
I don't know if they do, though. That's the thing. I don't know if they actually do. I think on the technical level, yeah, okay, because you're right. Like, yeah, the engine's the same, right? Like, the paint brushes and the paint is the same, but the person painting the painting is not. If that makes sense, right?
Yeah, it's also because. Bijvoorbeeld, for example, the new Metroid, right? Metroid Prime 4, just announced, etc., etc., blah, blah, blah. It looks very much like the Metroid Prime series.
Yeah.
But basically nobody is still there who worked on the Metroid Primes. It's made by an entire new set of people, but it still looks like Metroid Prime. So some knowledge, even if it's just training from remaking the first one, carried over into this new game, even though...
Well, I mean, to be fair, the new one's not out yet. We don't know how different it's going to feel, or if there's any changes or whatnot between then and now, right? So I wouldn't be so quick to, dismiss the idea that it's going to be different, or it's going to be exactly the same as the one that you knew,
I do think that already, in that sense, that corruption already was kind of a departure from Prime 2 and 1. Other M was made by another studio, so that doesn't really count towards that.
Well, I mean, it kind of proves the point. It doesn't. Anyway, let's get back to it.
Arcane of 2012 is not Arcane of 2023. Bungie, Blizzard, BioWare, Obsidian, Konami, these studios have largely had most of their parts replaced one by one and are not the same studios we once knew, which is to be expected. People move on, retire, or even move up the corporate positions rather than stay in the trenches engrossed in the actual development process. And the results speak for themselves. Somehow the animations and lip syncing of Assassin's Creed was better in 2010 than it is in 2020. The quest design and writing of New Vegas, a game made in 18 months with 70 devs, outclasses Fallout 4's writing and quest design at every single turn. And Bethesda claims that Fallout 4 took 7 years to develop, with over 100 developers. Or we take a look at it.
So I feel like that's kind of an interesting comparison that he did there. He should have used an Obsidian game. I think my criticism of that is if he was going to compare New Vegas to anything, he should compare it to Outer Wilds. Not the fancy game with the gravity, the other one. Because I always get those two confused, because it's like literally almost the same fucking name. Outer Worlds, Outer Wilds. It's Outer Worlds, Outer Wilds, right? And I always get them confused because it's the same fucking... Worlds is the one I'm talking about. The one with the rah-rah, capitalism bad, fucking Rick and Morty, fucking whatever, right? Like, I would compare those two games because that's Obsidian, right? And because Obsidian did New Vegas, right? Then you could say, right, that there's the cognitive decline of Obsidian, as it were, right?
Yeah, but I kind of feel this is kind of a complaint about, oh no, they changed, and change is bad.
Well, I mean, change can be bad. That's the thing.
Can be, but even if
has been in some cases,
even if it's been terrible, you know, I still praise Morrowind as the height of the Elder Scrolls. I don't really care much for Skyrim or Oblivion in that sense.
The Chris Avalon. Yeah, sorry, I'm looking at the chat.
That Starfield failed, and that Bethesda is in decline doesn't really matter to me in that sense, right? There is so much other stuff, and if the good people left for whatever reason, made a new studio to do whatever else thing, well, if they make a good thing over there, that's good news for me. I still have good stuff.
Well, right. Also, the Chris Avalon stuff, him getting cancelled when Outer Worlds came out, all that.
And also, you know,
also, Jake makes a good point. Arcane Studio behind Dishonored is not the same as Arcane Austin Redfall. They weren't the same. They weren't the same studio. So it was the same name. It gets confusing. Starfield failed so badly, modders couldn't fix it. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that would have been a much better example. Would have been like, Fallout 3 or Fallout, compare Bethesda. All I'm saying is my criticism is he should have compared the same studio rather than New Vegas versus Fallout 4, because I actually don't think that's for what he's trying to say, right? That's not a fair comparison, right?
But also, this kind of hinges on that Bethesda is being less creative. Not that the engine they work on is decrepit and should have been replaced.
Well, I would argue that Fallout 4 was not really. Well, maybe it may. I don't know if it's not creative, but it's not good. Let's just say that it's not good. It's not.
You see, I mean, he's pinning it on this vague creativity at this point, right? But there you can point at so many other things. Working with decrepit engines, having being forced to crunch with less time, high pressures big pressures means that only safe choices can be made. These are all not that the people who make them are less creative. It's all things that make it harder to work with. Games have to be bigger, have to be prettier, but the engine they work with can't handle it, but they have to use the engine because they didn't get money or time to make a new one. That has nothing to do with their creativity.
I don't think he's actually talking about technical stuff, like, at all. I don't think I've seen him talk about technical stuff at all. You seem to be the only one talking about technical.
Yeah, because that's an actual thing that affects what you can do. back to the Lego example that I gave, right? I had barrels with Lego. I could build everything I want, but give me a small ass few blocks of Lego. I can only do stuff with what I have. If you give me the same barrel for 20 years, eventually I run out of pieces that I can use.
Well, I don't see. I don't know if I agree. I want to defend the creative engine for a minute with Bethesda, because the issue with Bethesda isn't that the creation engine is shit, because the creation engine actually isn't shit. Or at least not, like, if you know anything about modding the thing, right? Like, there's so much you can actually do in the in the creation engine, right? And they've done some good stuff in it. I think that there's more problems going on than just the engine. A lot of people think, oh, they should just fucking strip the engine out, right, and make a new engine or do something else. I don't think that would actually solve a lot of the problems, and in fact, it would probably create even more problems, right? And you certainly wouldn't get as much modularity as you would. Like, if they move to like Unreal or Unity, do you think you're going to be able to fucking mod whatever the new game is as easily as you can mod the creation engine? No, I don't think so, right? So I think a lot of people beat on the drum of, oh, Bethesda just needs to change their engine. They've been using the same engine for 20 years, right? No, I think that they need to improve the engine, sure. And there's definitely stuff that could be done. And people have, there's a reason script extenders exist, right? And there's other things that make the engine better. But I don't necessarily think completely starting from scratch is the way to go with that, right?
Yeah, I'm not. I don't have that much of an insight on the creative and the creation engine that much, but I do know that there have been complaints about it, and
oh yeah, people bitch about it all the fucking time.
Yeah, so that's kind of what kind of going off.
And most of it, and honestly, most of it to me comes from people just being like, oh, old thing bad, new thing good, right? Because they're like, they don't actually realize that, like, the Unreal Engine and whatnot, like, that's gone through like what 6 or 7 iterations now, right? Like, it's still the Unreal Engine. It's still the same fucking Unreal Engine. They just keep updating it. And, maybe if Bethesda stopped being fucking lazy and updated the fucking creation engine properly instead of just, like, tacking new shit onto it, like, with duct tape, right? Maybe that would be great, the creation engine is an improvement. Yeah, the improved engine that dropped with Skyrim. Yeah. Like so there you go. That's what I mean. Like, it's not like they don't fucking improve it. It's just that the problem is they're not. They're not. I wouldn't put the blame on the engine. Is what I'm saying. It's like the bad craftsman blames their tools, right?
Well,
like, I don't think it's the tool.
Apart, when the tools fall apart, you do have some point.
Well, yeah, but I don't think that my disagreement is I don't actually think the tool is falling apart. That's my disagreement. I actually don't think the creation engine's as bad as people think it is.
Well, we're hammering on the creation engine, but this could, be true for other things as well. Just, in structures or Microsoft has this weird thing where you can only be hired for like 6 months at a time, and then you have to leave. Because Microsoft demands that you're a contractor, and contractors can't work longer than how many months.
Jump around.
So you on the project don't have to leave the project and rejoin the project. Have to be trained again.
Right. Well, anyway, let's get back to it.
Examples like Gotham Knights, which is not developed by Rocksteady, but obviously was trying to repeat the success of Rocksteady's Arkham series. And despite being 7 years apart, Batman Arkham Knight outclasses Gotham Knights in every single category, from the writing, to the gameplay, to the world and art design, to the sound design. All of it. And then you take a look at what Rocksteady is making now, and holy shit, how is this the same people behind this? Well, Ship of Theseus. It's not the same people behind this.
The big thing was that it was kind of forced upon them. Looter shooter battle pass game.
I don't know. I would have to look more into it because I don't know quite what the situation was.
I know there's one article that kind of says no, they chose to do this, but it's kind of iffy because Nretsew, I want money, right? I'm a studio, I want money. Otherwise, I go under. Nretsew I can make good games, right? So you know me as good Batman game maker. But Nretsew, you want big money.
Yeah, big money.
And you know what makes big money. You heard the kids talk all about it all the time. Battle Pass is big money. So you only will give money to Battle Pass games. So what do I, as a game studio, do?
Yeah, you make Battle Pass games.
Yeah, even though it's
money,
not my forte. If the only way I can get your money is making Battle Pass game, then I have to make a Battle Pass game.
Well, like I said, I don't know. I haven't looked into it outside of, I don't know, I guess some of the DEI stuff, but I guess that's not really related, right, to what we're talking about in this case, right? So I don't know. I don't know. That's all I'm gonna say.
No, but there was this.
I don't know enough about the development to know whether or not they were quote unquote forced or not.
There was this one. It was a. All I know is that there is kind of a weak defense of no, they chose to make this game, which is very iffy. You know,
I don't know. Yeah, well, I don't know.
Does a game studio suddenly decide to make a game that's not in their forte and bad at the same time?
Well, I mean, that's what happened with Redfall, wasn't it? Like, they got forced to make Redfall.
Yeah, and then they desperately hoped and pleaded to the gods that Microsoft would cancel them, but then Microsoft said no, release it. And then the game was bad on release, and then Microsoft
sent... so it's not like that. It's not like that. You know, them getting forced to do it doesn't happen, right?
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised if it did happen in this case. But again, I don't know enough about the situation. I'd have to do more research into it, and I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna comment on things that I don't know. Elliot,
yeah, but it's
that's
kind
not
of
smart.
If this video right now kind of still feels like he's just looking at, oh no, good game. There was good game, now it's bad game.
I do remember that, actually. Yeah, the co-founders left during Suicide Squad. I do remember that, actually. That was something I saw a news article about. But anyway, let's continue.
Now, even if the corporate overlords pushed Rocksteady to create this game, I think that the 2015 studio would have probably delivered something better than whatever the hell this is. A similar thing happened with Arcane and Redfall, where 70% of the development studio that were there for Prey 2017 were no longer at the studio for Redfall. So Redfall feels like baby's first video game project for a reason. The examples could go on and on. However, one of the largest examples of incompetence on both the part of Activision and the developers is at the Call of Duty studios. 13 years ago, Treyarch, the creators of the...
Call of Duty. It's Call of Duty.
Yeah, but I'm going to complain one last time, right? He says, oh, all those people left, so now it's a different studio. Well, why did they all leave? Were they forced to make a game they didn't want to make?
Well, I don't know.
So is it creativity that killed the studio, or was it lack of creativity that made the game not good, or was it make this stupid game that is terrible now?
Yeah, and again, Jake is Prey 2017, Arcane, not Austin. So he's wrong, but anyways, continue.
Black Ops gained 200 developers in 2010, and they delivered back-to-back the greatest COD games of all time, filled to the brim with content between multiplayer and zombies, and masterfully told campaign narratives, all developed in under 2 years each. But in 2023, the latest Modern Warfare 2 was worked on for 3 years by 11 different studios, totaling to 3,000 developers, and has delivered on a fraction of the content as these older Call of Duty titles. And most of the content that they put out is reskins of that content developed by the old development teams. The campaign narrative chops are nowhere near as good as the 2009 Modern Warfare 2, and there are more bugs and glitches than can even be quantified at this point. Is it too many cooks in the kitchen, genuine incompetence, lack of direction, and too much interference from...
I don't know what the current situation with the COD cycles are, Jake. Like, I think it is under Infinity Ward, but it's like they kind of like, because now they have Warzone, and I think Warzone just gets passed off to whoever's next in line, because I know Black Ops 6 is coming out soon, apparently, and so they're probably going to give Warzone over to that, right? So Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I haven't been
Yeah,
keeping tabs on the
I'm
CODs.
very reluctant to blame game studios themselves for making the game bad, because nobody makes the game bad on purpose. So there's some reason why why they were forced in this corner of bad game.
Well, I mean, it could. I mean,
Also,
I
what
think
is a
there's like
studio?
two.
Because he
Well,
kind
here's the well. Hang on, Ellie, because there's two like ways to, because you can talk about the corporate interference angle, which is kind of what you're talking about. Oh, they were forced to make bad game because corporate interference, which is probably more likely in the COD case. But there is also like, yeah, they set out to make a good game, but they don't have the talent or the skill right anymore to make the good game, so it ends up being a bad game. That happens a lot too, right? Not necessarily with the COD situation, but there are definitely. So I wouldn't necessarily dismiss it, right?
of.
Because I think it is possible that it's just a matter of they're. I mean, we've all heard the news stories about the layoffs, right? They lay off all these
Yeah.
people. They bring in they lay off people. They bring in new people. They lay off people. They bring in new people. You're cycling devs all the time, and that's probably part of what's causing the problems. Like we were talking about before with the ship of Theseus stuff, right? Where it's like, you bring in a bunch of new people, you have to retrain the new people. They've not been working in the culture, right? They don't know what the fuck's going on,
No, they
right?
don't know the engine. No, they don't know where the folder for the guns are.
Yeah, so I think it's a complicated thing. I think there's more. It's not just like one like issue, right? I feel like there's like a compound of issues that are kind of joining together to create the problem that we see as the consumer, right? On the consumer side, right? But anyways,
Corporate, again, all of the above. But 3,000 devs with 3 years versus 200 devs with 2 years. If that doesn't show you incompetence at every level, including the ground level devs in those studios today, I don't know what will. And while we're talking about quality in Call of Duty, I just want to highlight zombies. When we take a look at Black Ops Cold War zombies compared to Black Ops 2 zombies, it's a joke. Not that Cold War zombies can't be fun, but think of the maps in Cold War and their Easter eggs.
No,
Okay,
I can't, because I don't play them.
Nothing to do with what he's saying, but fuck me, I hate the UI. I'm sorry, but like, hang on, let me get a better shot. That's not so.
Look on stream, because you know.
I'm looking on. Oh, fuck, I want to get a shot with the numbers because I really want to
There are
complain about
numbers
the
on
fucking
screen.
numbers.
When we take a look at
Or you
Black
mean life bars.
Ops Cold
Alright.
Like, well, everything, right? Like, just what the fuck am I look like? Okay, you got a mini map in the corner. Okay, all right, okay, right. That's okay, right? Then you got like what score, health, mid pack, your name, right? And then you've got what the fuck is like 23 out of that's that like that's like your gun and your ammo,
Guess, yeah.
right? And then there's like, I don't know what the little compass in the bottom is. That a compass, right? There's a fucking map marker, right? You've got 115 critical zombie kill, and then but I fucking hate floating numbers. I hate it. It's so fucking distracting. Fuck off.
It's very RPG.
Yeah, in a first person shooter, right? Oh, at least I hate the floating numbers as they are like here, right? The way they're doing it here, especially when you've also got the health bar, right? Because I think that in like the past games it had floating numbers for the score as well, but it wasn't like big yellow ass numbers that are like, the font was a little bit more muted, right? And it was like they'd
the
fade
yellow
away
is only
into the
on
background.
criticals and whatnot, right? The big 14.
Yeah, it didn't look as distracting as it does here when I'm watching him play it on this like thing, right? Like, what the fuck? I fucking hate modern UI. Like, I'm gonna have a rant about modern UI too, because what is this font here? This fucking bland ass fucking like. Hang on, fucking Black Ops 3 zombies. I want to find like, can I find like a screenshot of the UI so we can compare and contrast here? Because I'm fucking I'm losing my mind. I'm losing my fucking mind. I'm having an autism moment. Bear with me, guys. Bear with me. I'm having a fucking. Oh yeah, that might work. That might kind of work.
Oh no, you want me to pull up something on stream again, aren't you?
I'm trying to find like a good. What would be like a good UI? I'll use this one. This one will work. Yeah, this will work. Where you've got Richtofen. I'll put it in images for streams. There's another image for streams in there, but we'll talk about that later because it's just a funny meme of NTR stuff. There you go. There's Black Ops 3, I think. Black Ops 3 zombie UI versus modern UI. Like, one of the things that I miss is when UI used to be like integrated. I get like they used to have fun UIs, right? Like if you look at like the ammo thing and the stuff, because they're on, I think that's on what map is that? I think that's got one of the ones from the DLCs. I can't quite remember what map that was, but they used to have it so like the UI was like, oh, it's like a little fun. It's like a fun little icon. And it's like a hologram. It looks kind of like a fun little thing, right? You know,
Ooh,
I might see if I can find another one while I'm
per episode. It's the zombies thing.
because I'm like trying to find. Yeah.
There we go.
That image won't fucking show up. I'm trying to find like a good fucking like.
Here's your UI.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. The numbers would float next to the score. So it wouldn't, like, the numbers weren't popping up like when you shot the zombie, I don't think. I think it would come up like next to the score. It'd be like plus whatever, right? Oh, it's disappeared. Oh, there it is. Like, and so it would be like, yeah, no, you'd have like the UI kind of look like that, right? So yeah, I miss when UI design wasn't this like just bland, solid, flat fucking UI, right? Because they want to have everything be super legible or whatever, right? Like, look, compare that 300 for the ammo count or whatever. It gets kind of cut off because of the stream, overlay and whatnot, because you don't see the full window. But it's like, it's so bland. Like, I just don't like it. I hate it. I hate how bland it looks compared to, like, look, it's a fancy little icon with a hologram, and you've got your grenades, and it looks integrated into the fucking, the setting, right? You got your little like round marker. That's the the blood spatters, and then it turns into like a fancy font, right? And then I hate it. And it's also like it's not as clean. It's not as clean either because it's too much shit on the screen, right? Like, fuck me, I hate it. There you go. I've got the autism.
UI done.
My UI autism, because I hate. It's not just Call of Duty that does this. It's like a lot of these modern games, right? The UI is so fucking terrible. I hate it. I hate it.
Zelda's UI has been very clean in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah. Like, I've seen that UI. That looks fine, right?
All right.
It's just this fucking bland ass shit. But anyways, keep going.
Cold War Zombies compared to Black Ops 2 Zombies, it's a joke. Not that Cold War Zombies can't be fun, but think of the maps in Cold War and their Easter eggs versus.
Oh look, there you go. Look. You see, look. So this was
of Mob of the Dead, Buried, Origins, maps with.
Like you can see like all the UI stuff, right? Like, and I think he might be using some mods here because the score counter on that one's a little bit different. But like like you've got like look at how nice the ammo counter thing with the icon, right, stuff looks compared to that, right? Like look at this. There's this. There's this. There's this. Right? I'm not fucking insane, okay? I think this is better. This is more legible and more clean to me. Right? than whatever the fuck they're doing for modern shit these days. Anyway.
Likes of Mob of the Dead, Buried, Origins, maps with Easter eggs that are light years ahead of Cold War in terms of creativity, immersion.
Yeah, see, the numbers come up on the score, right? When he's shooting those zombies, the pop-up numbers don't come up in the middle of the screen, distracting you while you're trying to fucking shoot. They come up on the side. So you still get the dopamine of the numbers, big number, right? Big number, see big number, but it's not in the way, right? How do you fuck that up? How do you fuck that up? It's so fucking easy to not fuck up UI design, but they keep fucking it up. Oh, I hate it. Oh, I hate it. I hate it.
I don't know. I don't play zombie.
Give me a minute.
I think
I gotta cool.
if you remember my preferences, is that cowboys are lame, zombies are lame.
Yeah, well, whatever. I'm not even talking about any of that. I'm just talking about the UI in general.
Yeah, so I never was into Call of Duty was never really my thing anyway, but the zombies were never my thing.
Half the fun is taken away. I'm reading the chat. Half the fun is taken away from minimap. Yeah, I don't know why they added a minimap either. Like, I will say that, like, he mentions, like, the Easter eggs. I've always felt like the Easter eggs got way too fucking complex, right? Like, because I remember me and my cousin, we were very big into our zombies, and he'd come over and we'd do like split screen multiplayer and stuff, and we'd try and do the Easter eggs, and it was always such a fucking pain in the ass. Once you get past like Black Ops 1, right, the Easter eggs start becoming like these fucking massive puzzles that have like 20 fucking steps, and it's all like this really esoteric fucking, oh, you have to like hit this in this order and do this and go to this. You have to find this one pixel in the map and hit this one pixel at this exact time when this one, like the sun moves in front of the moon for 5 nanoseconds, right? And do this, and this. And it's like, Jesus Christ, I just want to fucking do cool zombie thing, right? Like, I don't want to spend like 5 hours with a mate trying to do this fucking Easter egg, right? So I feel like they made them way too complicated. They should have kept them simple and easy to do. And if they were going to make them complicated, then they should have just added fucking quests to the goddamn map and just actually had it be a fucking like actual, okay, here's what you have to do, right? Well, yeah, Jake, they used to be optional, right? But then they made them not optional because then they started having a storyline, right? And in order to go through the storyline, you had to do the Easter eggs, right? And that started happening with like Black Ops 3, where they started to make it into a thing where you had to do the Easter eggs to unlock the achievements, and that would unlock the story and stuff. And I always felt like, yeah, okay, if you're gonna do that, you should actually just have it be a quest in the fucking map instead of it being like you have to watch like a YouTube tutorial and then you have to spend like 2 hours fucking around in the map to try and do this fucking Easter egg, right? And I never found it fun. I always thought it was stupid. I miss when they were optional. Is basically what I'm saying, because because that was the other thing is you have to do the Easter egg sometimes to be able to like get to Pack-a-Punch or to like do other things in it. And I know I'm like fucking yapping on about this, and Ellie's just like, what the fuck is he talking about?
I'm looking.
He's speaking Chinese. He's speaking Chinese.
The dumb
right
zombie
now.
game.
Sounds more fun than mindlessly doing dailies. Hey, Jake, hey.
There's a tactical game sale on Steam, so I'm just checking those games out.
He's just like, fuck it, I'm gonna browse games. I'm done. Well, we're almost done with the video. We got like
a short video.
Let's get through it. I'm gonna try not to get triggered by the horrible UI of modern Call of Duty.
Level design and an art and graphical style so much more impressive than Cold War Zombies. How the fuck have zombies regressed so far to this generic mobile game feeling horde mode? It's so frustrating. But probably the saddest area to see lose creativity is in the writing and storytelling of video game narratives and dialogue.
Bow to your queen!
Yeah, okay, that is something I do now. I do magic, talk to sentient cuffs, kill jacked up beasts. You know what?
I don't have to love it. I have to pay my student loans.
I'm in.
What the fuck is this piece of shit?
Now I know this isn't just a gaming problem, all media's writing has tanked off a cliff so hard, but video games are a unique storytelling medium. There are certain stories that can only be experienced inside of a video game. And I think the best example of that is BioShock. There is no way to deliver that narrative in a movie or TV show. Not that you couldn't make a movie or TV show with Rapture as the setting, but that specific story could not be translated to TV. Because one of the biggest parts about the twist in the story highlights that gamers mindlessly follow objectives and obey whatever an NPC asks of them, tying in with the "a man chooses, a slave obeys" idea. The player realizes that they've been a slave both narratively in-game and almost in a fourth wall breaking kind of way. Narratives like that, again, can
only pause on a widescreen. Rip to you who watches these in dark rooms and not
fucking flashbang, wake up.
Turn some lights on, you losers. Anyway, Nretsew, the twist is so telegraphed. It's so easy to see. Perhaps it's a symptom of having this kind of deal done already, but it's so easy to see coming. It's kind of a joke twist in that sense.
I haven't actually played Bioshock. I played Infinite. I played Infinite, but I haven't played the original Bioshocks, right? So I do kind of know the twist, though. I do kind of. I think I've seen a YouTube thing about it, but I don't think that really detracts from his point, though, because his point he's trying to make is like, okay, yeah, it's a twist that you could really only do in video games, and while that's true, and I do agree that the writing in a lot of modern video games is shit, and we can have a debate about, you know, what the cause of that is. Is that DEI? Is that, you know, some other thing that like corporate meddling, censorship from other sources, right? That are stopping people from being able to write the things that they want to write, right? You know, that kind of stuff. It's weird because it's like I don't necessarily disagree, but at the same time, I don't think he's making the point very well.
Because he's to conclude the video before it's done, he's putting everything on this vague creativity thing, which is, you know, he's cited, not really sourced even, a study that somehow proves that creativity is dying, but then does nothing really with it. He doesn't really put those games to the test. He doesn't really prove that the creativity is dead. He just doesn't like the new Zombies thing. Well, too bad. I didn't like the new Elder Scrolls things. Does that mean that creativity is dead?
Yeah, yeah, because you have to kind of detect, like, there's a difference between personal taste, right, and whether or not something is, you know,
and
actually bad, right?
And to do the reverse, the new Zeldas are excellent. Great Zelda games, better than all the Zeldas before it. So, what does that say? If games aren't in a steady decline, if suddenly games that come out better than the previous games. I mean, people praise Metroid Prime 1, but I think Metroid Prime 2 is way better. So the sequel improves. How could that have been?
How could that be?
Yeah.
How could this happen, Nelly? How could this happen? But anyhow,
sometimes I think
we got 2 minutes left.
All right, but sometimes I think old thing is better, but sometimes I think new thing is better.
Only exist in video games. These thought-provoking pieces of
holy shit, that is a flashback.
Part of the game, I
dig
assume.
deep because they require a player to be in control. But with the obsession of realism, games have essentially become movies. If you remove the player, the stories would still be able to be told in any other media. And their narratives don't go much deeper than violence breeds more violence or face our fears. Not inherently bad concepts, but so many times it's extremely surface level, and again can be experienced in any medium. Give me more games like BioShock, Dark Souls, Firewatch, Portal 2, Undertale, The Masquerade Bloodlines, New Vegas, Disco Elysium. Games that take advantage of the fact that they're video games, and tell their narratives in a way that capitalizes on the strengths that gives them. And what makes this...
So, again, it's like, I don't disagree, right? I do think that there has been too much of a focus on games needing to be movies. There's been too much of a focus on their realism, right? I mean, I've had rants about that in the past, both, you know, probably on stream or on Twitter, about how realism is killing gaming. I think the whole everything has to be rooolistic, as I like to put it, right, is definitely causing problems. So I don't disagree. I just don't think that he's really articulated that point very well, because if I was going to articulate it, I would talk about how games shouldn't have to shackle themselves to realism, right? While sometimes it is good to draw from real life for inspiration and as a grounding point, like let's say, for instance, Tarkov, right? Tarkov wants to be a quote-unquote realistic military shooter where you're going around a semi-post-apocalyptic, it's not really post-apocalyptic, but like a war-torn zone with looters and paramilitaries and stuff trying to kill you and stuff. And it wants, you know, they're realistically modeling all these guns and they all function the way that they would function in real life and they have all this stuff, right? But at the same time, if you need to heal yourself, oh, you have a broken arm, just put a splint on it. It's fine.
And it's healed.
Oh, you're bleeding. Just you know, you got shot in the chest. Just, you know, put a fucking
Band-aid,
fucking cloth thing inside it. It's fine, right? You know, like, it's a video game, right? And you're going to have video game isms in the video game, right? Because they could push Tarkov to be hyper realistic. Oh no, you fucking like, you know, if you want to heal your wounds, you're gonna have to wait fucking 3 months for your fucking arm to not be broken, right? You know, and all this stuff is like, you could go that way, but is that gonna be fun as a game to actually play? Right? Is that, like, there's this balancing act that needs to be made, right, between realism as something that enhances the gameplay experience and realism that just detracts from the experience of the game. Because let's be real, if I wanted to play real life, I would go out and touch fucking grass, right? If I wanted to actually go outside and experience like the forest or whatever, I would just go outside and have a walk in the forest, right? So I feel like that the taking it away from, like, you know, realism in a gameplay perspective, talking about realism in a narrative and stylistic perspective, right? The same thing applies, right? Does every game need to have hyper realistic fucking zoom in on the facial hairs? I can see Horizon Zero Dawn man's wrinkles on his ball sack or whatever fucking levels of detail to make it quote unquote realistic? Or is, you know, what's wrong with Zelda? Zelda doesn't look realistic, right? It's got cartoony graphics. It looks fine.
It has
looks good,
it's
right?
Kind of realistic physics though, which is funny.
Well, it's good, yeah, but that's and that's what I mean, right? Realistic physics adds to the gameplay element of it, right? Quote unquote realistic physics adds to the gameplay of it. That's like a form of realism to add to the game that enhances the experience. But would Zelda be a better game if Zelda looked like a real life person? He was based off a real life actor. They body scanned him right down to his like fucking, you know, dick and balls, right?
Of course, Nretsew. Look at this. Look at my Unreal Engine 5 Zelda gameplay right now.
Unreal 5 Zelda. Yeah, Nintendo, hire that. Nintendo, hire that man. Yeah, no, but that's what I mean, though, right? This is what I mean. It's like, I don't, you know, I think there's been like a problem in the games industry of, especially in AAA, where they're hyper focusing on, we need to get big name Hollywood actors to star in our big games because we need to be like movies, and we need to make sure it's hyper realistic and hyper cool, and it all looks super like
So maybe we should let the video
real
play
life.
because I have other conclusion-y thingies to go. But
Right.
if it's only 2
Well, I
minutes,
just kind of wanted to touch in on that because this annoys me more because I agree with it. Right? Because I do agree with the overall sentiment, I just don't agree with how he's presenting it and how he's executing the idea is the problem. So anyway, we're almost done.
Is the gamers who have no standards. Gamers that are so easily entertained. You could make a game about 2 dudes playing hopscotch, make it look ultra realistic, throw in some Marvel dialogue about the struggles of hopscotching as a man, and boom, masterpiece for normies. These same gamers would then go on to defend the publishers and developers as if they work at the studios, saying that game development is so hard and gamers are so unaware of the challenges. And while that can definitely be true, you don't have to be a game developer to see situations like 3,000 devs with 3 years versus 200 devs with 2 years and say, yeah, something is definitely fucked up here. But again, gamers have no standards. Or should I say, they have the wrong standards. They want large empty open worlds, ultra-realistic graphics, and facial animations.
Is he hating on Zelda right there?
Maybe. But again, it's like I don't disagree, but it's like anyway.
Animations, and will fawn over some of the most generic Marvel tier storytelling in existence. They will hype up gameplay that was surpassed by studios over 10 years ago, bend over when a company demands money for their progression systems, cheerlead for them when they ship a broken game and say,
it just launched, they're working on it,
and willfully spend hundreds on cash op items because
I just like to look cool.
This is modern gaming. The death of creativity. Talent is extinct. Genuine care belongs to bygone days. And gamers have zero standards.
Alright, well, there's like a few seconds left, but this is actually this is a good screen. This is a good screen to end it. End it on the thesis statement right here. So yeah, I've kind of talked on for a long time about it. So
again, I don't think
go.
really that the person he described really exists. Halo Infinite has been kind of a flop. Not many people are playing it. Not many people are enjoying it as much. It's just kind of, it feels like he's just keeping being superficial. The world is empty. Yeah, it's kind of the thing with Zelda, not to have something to do every 5 seconds. It's about journeying through it or making a big tank to go through it and having fun that way. He never really proved that creativity is dead. He just kind of doesn't like how things are now, and he liked things better in the past. And even if it's just something like writing, sometimes trends just change. I never cared for the military shooter, and I'm pretty sure I remember some vague interview about how they interviewed or co-developed it with some military guy, trainer, person, tactician. That to make it super realistic guns
or whatever, yeah.
But in that age of the brown military shooter, the gray-brown military shooter, I was probably miserable if I cared about this. If I cared about gaming in that sense, I would be miserable. I would complain every day about how what does a military shooter gun trainer know about game design? They just do all the same things that they did in the last game. Call of Duty hasn't changed since Medal of Honor. On and on. Complaining about creativity in that sense. What about all the creativity of when everything is gray and brown, of the Call of Duty, of the Medal of Honor, of the... What was it again? Resistance, of Haze, of Overstrike. Oh, sorry, Haze. Of Fuse. There are ages, there are epochs in gaming where everybody does somewhat the same thing. This time, I don't really think you can point to one thing game studios are doing. Big graphics were always kind of a thing that they tried to do. It will be worse.
So
Yeah.
I've kind of already done my final thoughts in a sense. I feel like I agree with some of the sentiment, and I think that it's one of those cases where he's highlighted the problems, but he hasn't really like.
His
There's not really a thesis.
his most substantial complaint is he doesn't like zombies as much anymore.
Right, but I think that there are reasons to not like the modern zombies compared to the past zombies. I
But
just
we
feel
seem
like
co-
the issue isn't. I just feel like the issue isn't necessarily like just the creativity, the nebulous creativity has vanished. Right. I think there's other reasons and other factors at play that need to be kind of discussed and talked about. And I feel like constantly honing in on the AAA is part of that problem, because people want to like hone in on how bad AAA is when it's like, bro, just don't. If you ignored the AAA and didn't talk about it, the AAA would fail because no one would be talking about
But
it.
even still,
You know?
AAA is failing.
Yeah,
So
it is.
Gamers have standards because apparently all those AAAs are failing.
Exactly.
I mean,
So,
it's maybe not as fast as he wants it to be, but you know, people who just buy a game every year or 2 games a year will have fun with that game. They are not they're not big into the minutia of game development as much as Nretsew. Some people only watch the sport when the national teams are playing in the finals, right? When your national team of your sport of choice are playing to be world champion, and if that's the only moment you are watching the sports team,
sports ball, yeah.
if you're watching only when your nation is in the finals, you don't care about the trainer or the whatever, the individual players even. You care about, he looks like a good person with the scoring ball. I hope he scores this time. Oh no, that other nation is apparently very good. I hope that nation will get knocked out first, so we have an easier way to win. That's the level you're operating at. Don't blame those people for not paying attention. They are not in this conversation. Too bad they are perpetuating a bad ecosystem. They're not really in it. And those people they're not able, they won't sustain bad practices for long.
Yeah, it's like I said, eventually there's going to be a fucking breaking point, There's like, you can't. There's a reason people are moving to gacha games, right? Which you could argue is like picking a poison, right? Like you pick your poison in a sense. But I feel like the reason why games like ZZZ and the aforementioned GFL2 that we're going to talk about in a minute, maybe later, at the end of the stream, there's a reason I think people are moving to these games, right? Because that's where they feel like they're getting the thing that they want, right? From them. I mean, I don't know if you've been looking at what ZZZ's been up to, but I kind of want to get into it, but I also kind of don't, because I only have so much time for the games and the gachas, and I don't want to add another one that's not the one that's coming. I don't want to add another one. But I look at ZZZ and I actually think ZZZ looks really creative. It looks really cool. It's kind of like this beat 'em up Persona. Yeah, it's like a beat 'em up / Persona type thing where you've got like a town and you walk around the town and you talk to people. And there's like this like the style is really interesting. Yeah, it's very stylish, as Samu says. The combat system is quite basic, but it's stylish. It's got a really good style to it. I don't know about the character designs looking mid. I guess we could transition from the video now because we're kind of done with the video. Because I do kind of want to. I'm going to defend ZZZ a little bit. Because I see a lot of contrarianism, Ellie. You love contrarianism. You think contrarianism is cool,
contrarian
right?
all the way. That's how culture grows.
Yeah, we're super big contrarians on the show, right? But I think a lot of people are being really contrarian about ZZZ, and they're shitting on it for stuff like, oh, the animation is so bleh. It's so it looks kind of bleh. Oh, the designs look bleh. And I'm just like, I don't see it. I don't see it. I think it looks fine. I think it looks great. And I, for one, as Samu was saying, have enjoyed the fact that my timeline has been nothing but Alan Joe's legs for the last 2 weeks. Just straight up. Like, I'll go on Twitter and it'll be like, I scroll down and it's like, yep, that's the shark girl's legs again. Because it seems like artists really like drawing her legs. So it's just, yeah, all right, I'll take it. It's pretty good. It's a good design. It's a good design. I like it. I think it's kind of cool. She uses like fucking garden shears as like a spear. It's actually kind of an interesting weapon choice. I kind of like it. That's kind of creative to me. Is that she's got like these like garden shear looking snippers that are like shark jaws almost. Because I mean, it's cool. I think it's cool. Right? I'm like Marge Simpson with the potato, right? It's like, I just think they're neat, right? I just think it's neat, right? And I feel like a lot of people are shitting on ZZZ and they're just doing it because, oh, it's the new MiHoYo game and they just want to be contrarian about it, right? And
so
like,
I'll be contrarian for you, Nretsew.
You'll be my contrarian man. Yeah.
I'm not very attracted to the designs in Zenless Zone. There's no real appeal to me in it. Can't say that.
Jake, I know. Yeah, Jake, I know you're not dunking on it. I'm just saying, like, there are people out there that are like being really. I would argue, like, because there's a difference between like not being interested in it and not, caring about it versus just shitting on it, right? There's a difference. But anyway, I'll let you.
So I think I saw the brother sister characters in action. They look neat. They have a fun orange blue design. They got some style. But Ellen,
Ellen, the shark girl.
Yeah, her maid costume with a bunch of straps look kind of neat, but I'm not very. Doesn't pull me into making me to want me to.
You're not gonna simp, is what you're saying.
No, I'm not simping because how she looks. I'm not really driven to know her character either. Even a pink-haired girl in the beginning also is kind of the same deal. The red robot face guy with the guns. Yeah, he's quirky and he jumps around a lot in a very energetic and expressive way, but it doesn't endear. The characters don't endear me. Haven't endeared themselves to me. So also, I do care about the gameplay in the character action-ish kind of game. Just 2 buttons, from what I heard, is not really enough. I can't claim myself to be a character action aficionado.
I've heard like the one criticism that I think is valid from what I've heard, because again, I haven't played it myself. I don't really intend to play it, but from talking with a bunch of people that have played it, is that it is very basic. Like, it's very simple. Like, it's not. It's kind of like a simplified Devil May Cry in a sense. Where I'm gonna take a wild stab in the dark and say that a lot of that probably has to do with the fact that they have to be on mobile, right?
Yeah.
And they have to work around the limitations of, hey, you're gonna have, like, there's gonna be people that aren't using a controller. They're going to be using on-screen, like,
you can't push the shoulder button and change your stance to do.
It's like, because on if you look at like the on-screen controls for like Genshin and stuff, it's very like, it is very basic, like, right? Like, you have like the different, like the ultimate button and the special attack button and the normal attack button, right? And it's, I feel like part of that is just the fact that they have to consider mobile as a platform, right? If they weren't considering mobile as a platform, they'd probably have a bit more freedom to do what you're saying, right? Like, you could have stances, you could have all of this complicated, like, stuff. I've heard that part of the complexity of it is like, there's like because you have like free characters that you take into the dungeon or whatever, and they have like these moves where it's like you have to parry. It's a very parry focused combat system where you parry and then you switch into a new character, and there's a special attack when you switch into the new character, right? So a lot of the combinations is you do your attacks with the one character and then you switch to the next character and you keep that combo going, right? Or something like that. That's what I've seen based on what I've watched and what I've like heard from people talking about it. But overall, it is a very simplistic combat system.
Yeah,
which,
I just need more. From what I've seen, I need more, and there isn't, of course, more, and so I'm of course
there isn't more. Yeah.
The characters don't make me want to will or simp or endear myself or them to me, and the gameplay isn't as deep as I would want it to be. I just want to say I liked my Bayonettes very much. I do like my character action game, but I only really played Bayonetta in the genre. But Zenless Zone Zero isn't actiony enough for me in that sense.
I will say though, and I'm gonna put this in the images for streams, right? I'm gonna give you a counter argument. Do you want to see the counter argument? This is the counter argument.
1 sec. I have to bring it over.
Yeah, to show, because I know you, Ali. Here's your counter argument. Once he brings it up.
Yeah, I should make this more easy to.
We have to find a way. If anyone knows a better way to do Discord, or not Discord, with fucking whatchamacallit,
shared thing.
OBS quickly bring image up on screen, right, without having to go through like 50 different steps. If anyone has like a tutorial
I have some ideas, but it's just
he's working on it. Yeah, here's the counter argument. here's my counter argument for Ellie.
I do like the gap between the pants and the other pants.
Yeah, it's the Zen whatever, the absolute territory. But it's kind of like that. It's kind of like that, but it's not that because obviously it's slightly different.
Because it's a skirt and should be.
This is shorts. It's shorts, and then it's like she's got the legs for pants, kind of like going on. Yeah, it's quite good. Yeah. Ellie's into biker chicks.
Nah, but Nretsew, unfortunately, this isn't enough for me to play her game.
I thought the armpits would be. You remember that one meme we did that one time when we did the normalities thing?
I don't know. It's too long ago.
So long ago before the long dark when I uploaded that one. I don't know if that's still up on BitChute or whatever, but I did this skit where you got sent to horny jail because you weren't there for that.
Oh, I
recording.
remember making that.
Yeah, and we made this like thing where it's probably still on the channel if you go back and you look for like the normalities thing where it's like I think it's got the picture of Doge as a cop and the baseball bat because I bonk Ellie and sent him to horny jail because he's looking at like all these anime girls' armpits.
Anyway, so we talk about other anime armpits?
Yeah, we'll talk about other anime armpits. I'm gonna grab a drink though, so you bring up something that you can talk about to start off.
Yeah,
I'll be back in a sec.
Let's do Elusive Samurai. Because last episode, 1 second, this image can be bigger, so I'm going to make it bigger. There we go. Ta-da. Elusive Samurai. Our boy has lost his entire shogunate. Everybody's dead. And he's being kind of, taken away by this priest shaman who can see the future. And the future includes seeing kind of monopoly. So he made a Monopoly game in the year 1333. He gathers basically he gets 2 allies to be his arms and legs, because he himself isn't that strong at fighting. Because he, like in the last episode, he kind of just skipped every archery and apparently sword fighting class that he had. But the purging of the Hojo clan is still in effect, still going on, including his brother. His brother was from a concubine, which make his older brother is from concubine. It's an older male heir, but unfortunately, the older male heir is from a concubine, therefore not as legitimate as the younger brother, the second male-born heir, he himself. His uncle finds his older brother and says, "I'll help you instead." But instead, oh no, he's betraying him for fame and glory. Nretsew? Still dead. Turns out this anime is more historically correct than I kind of expected. All of these characters.
The Shota Boy anime is realistic. It's realistic.
Yeah, all these characters, at least big named characters, actually existed. So, Nretsew, in the top right corner, there's a guy that's pointing at a boy, right? That boy is the older brother of our protagonist. He skipped over in the line of succession because he's from a concubine.
Oh,
he doesn't care for that really. But the thing is that his uncle betrayed him. His blood related, his actual uncle said, "Nah, here he is. Go on, behead him." So, older brother is dead.
Oof.
By the hands or the deeds of his uncle. But Nretsew, like I said, it's more realistic than I expected. Spoiler alert for something that happened 700 years ago. This guy, the uncle, is known for being the most ruthless warlord in one of the most ruthless warlords in Japanese history. And if you look at the history books, he died alone and in by starvation, because nobody really likes it when you give up your blood, your own flesh and blood nephew to die for fame and glory. You don't get much fame and glory after that. So history said he died in poverty. The anime says, nah, our Shota Boy protagonist got revenge. And they do a very neat trick. They like symbolism. Our Shota Boy has gotten, divine bird wings to illustrate his elusiveness. And our uncle here, who played the dice and gambled his path to victory, is getting horns in dust clouds and whatnot. Not literal horns, but really he gets kind of the aura of a devil, of a demon. Also, Shota Boy is still getting very excited about evading all the stuff, almost dying. Shota Boy loves almost dying. That's his thing, kinda.
He's getting very hot and bothered by the idea of I'm in danger.
And I like it.
I like it. I'm in danger.
So it's my goal to have one aroused Shoto face every week. Because so far that's the anime's vision on it. So I'm going to just follow the author's intent on this piece of art.
Can't argue with that.
Alright, that's Elusive Samurai.
Alright, what else have you got for us? Because I'm gonna spoiler alert, I ain't watched shit.
Terrible
I did watch
season.
VTuber.
Terrible
I
season.
did watch VTuber, So we'll talk about that maybe. I want you to because I had a massive rant about ZZZ, so I'm gonna let you talk.
Alright,
while I
I'll kind of
recover.
go through. Alright, second episode of Mayonaka Punch, our YouTube show.
Yes.
So the deal is made. Get me 1 million subscribers and you can suck me dry to the bones.
You can suck me dry. Alright.
To the bones, she says, while drunk. But a deal is a deal.
To the bone.
A deal is a deal. So she starts making shorts. Right, so maybe we should making shorts.
Yeah, because well, I've heard shorts is the meta right now, so.
Anyway, but she's kind of making some superficial flying while eating some candy, falling from the sky while eating some candy, dropping a car, crashing a car and then flying away whilst eating a candy. It's a thing, but it goes well. They steadily get more subscribers in Nretsew. The day of her being sucked dry and dying from a vampire is coming closer. But Nretsew, another vampire enters the picture.
There's more than one? Oh no!
More than 4, more than 3 at this point, because she enlists. There's the one girl, Liv, and there's 2 others that join immediately. But the 4th one disapproves. And while the other 2 are of a lower ranking than her, this one is of equal ranking to Liv, the main vampire that made the deal. And while the 2 lower ranking vampires can't go against Liv, this new vampire says Mother disapproves of this.
Oh,
and Liv can't go. Her name is Liv the vampire. Liv can't go against Mother, so channel is dead. So our protagonist is kind of sad, like, damn, I like making videos. I was kind of,
damn, I'm not gonna get sucked dry.
well, that's kind of a secondary thing. It's more of a, hey, I was all alone before. I had no friends at school, but then I was watching a video on my phone just after class, and then I got friends that also watched the video, and we were talking about make videos together, and then we decided to make videos together. Always
fun videos being fun, yeah.
And now they've moved out. I'm all alone in this apartment. Things are boring. Things are sad. But then Liv comes back and says, "Hey, can we make videos anyway?"
Yeah. How about I do anyway?
And the trick is that no, we won't do vampire things anymore. We won't just fly around, because that kind of reveals the secret of vampires existing.
Yeah. Oh, vampire's real. Masquerade. Big oh no.
Yeah. Well, apparently Masquerade isn't as much as a thing. It's more we don't exist. Don't make videos of us. So the bypass is we just make regular YouTube videos, kinda. And our protagonist says, maybe I won't appear in videos because then we get a bunch of backlash and whatnot, and because I punched somebody on stream and people don't like me for that, etc. So I'll be a producer and I'll just edit and film you guys doing vampire stuff and direct you. And so what will the channel name? What's the channel name, Nretsew?
It's Punch Thing.
Mayonaka means middle of the night. And we're vampires, so we can only really do things in the middle of the night. And punch, because you get cancelled for punching somebody.
Yay, they said the name.
And for short, it's Mayopan, which is mayonnaise on bread. So the channel profile picture is a piece of bread with some mayonnaise on it. Very YouTube creative. So they make a new channel with a first video, as you can kind of see in the top left, which is a somewhat familiar sight to me as well.
Yes.
It's funny. So that's Mayonaka Punch. That's kind of two for me already. So let's talk about VTuber Legends.
Let's talk about we'll go from YouTubers to VTubers.
Yeah.
YouTubing to VTubing. I fucking love this show, dude. It's so good. It's so funny. She wakes up in the morning and she's like, it's all of the clips.
Yeah.
It's all of the clips. The clips show up and they're like, I think the thing I like about this show is how committed to the authenticity it is, right? Because it's very much, yeah, those are actual thumbnails that I could believe were actual thumbnails. Senpai proposes. She proposes to her senpai? What? You know? And you know, all that kind of stuff. And she's having a freak out. She's like, I'm so humiliated. Oh no. And then she does a collab stream with her mama, right? The art girl,
Yeah.
right? The artist girl.
What I liked about I picked this screenshot because they are in for the viewer, they are in the same room together doing an interview with marshmallows. Questions.
Yeah, they're doing marshmallows, and it's actually marshmallows. And on the stream, it's just the two VTuber models are next to each other in the thing. But then they represent. There's a lot of really interesting, like, creative stuff going on here, where it's like, okay, we want to represent like what doing the marshmallow stream would look like, right? So let's set it up like it's an interview room where you have the one character reading the marshmallows and the other character responding to the marshmallows, right?
There are layers here, right? There is because there is the stream. What you see on stream. On stream, you see a one live 2D model going back and forth a little bit, and there's one static image.
Yeah, static, kind of like us PNG tubers. Yeah.
Yeah, PNGing, and for what you hear as an audience member, if you close your eyes. That is indeed, they are sitting across each other from doing an interview. But in reality, behind that, they're both on their PCs together with a drink in their hands and whatnot.
Yeah, it's I love it. I think it's great. I think it's actually very creative. How they kind of go do a lot of the stuff. So yeah, and I found it quite funny how the mama is like, you need to do you should do some pure streams as well again. You should do some pure streams again. And she's like, all according to plan. All according to plan.
She has her vision of a character and doesn't want to go with it completely vanishing.
Well, no, because she's like setting up the final part of the episode that's up in the top corner that we'll talk about when we get there, right? She's setting that up. She's like, you need to do a pure stream again. Maybe you should do a pure. Yeah. So after that, she goes into the office because what's happening is the artist girl has made a new design for
based
a model
on her
for her.
Casual drinking.
Based on the casual stuff, and the company is like, yeah, it's good. We've got a guy. And I like how also they have like a distinguishing between like characters versus NPCs in a sense. Like all the NPCs are just these kind of paper cutout.
They're viewers.
People.
They're users.
They're viewers, or the guy that was working on the live 2D was like kind of like one of those as well, like just a random guy.
Yeah.
Right. So they just so we've got a guy working on the rigging now. It'll be done pretty soon. It's all goods, and they're you can do what you want, I'm happy for you. The company is really like on board,
Yeah,
you're big number.
It kind of solidifies me that this this is really based on Nijisanji more than another studio, another
kind
agency.
of. It feels a lot more Nijisanji than HoloLive, doesn't it? A little bit.
Because there's no idle facade. It's all they're streamers first, and they can really do whatever in their capacity of streamers. There's no requirement for them to sing really.
But she did bring up, hey, we're going to be doing a cover, and we'd like you to You know, if you don't want to sing, we could just put you there with a what's it called, lemon light or whatever, the alcohol, some
zero strong.
The zero something. Yeah, we'll just put you there in the corner with the can or whatever. She's like, I will begin singing practice right away.
Yeah, so they're streamers. They're not idols. They're streamers, and that's that's Nichi-Sanchi.
But they're still doing some stuff.
Yeah, but also Nichi-Sanchi does stuff.
So then we move on to the next bit, which was we'd like you to go do a meeting, and it's like, oh, what's the meeting? And it's meeting her senpais that she proposed to.
And
they have some funny interactions because they're talking about what they're gonna do for the collab, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so they're having a yak about that, and it turns out that the Dragon Girl, apparently the parents of the Dragon Girl own the restaurant, and so they changed the menu to have the alcohol. have the lemon light or whatever.
Cronyism. It's cronyism.
Cronyism. Oh, it's great. So yeah, they have some fun discussions about it. And then we move on to the collab, which is part them doing some marshmallows. And I really loved the Yuri is an expression of pure love. I shouldn't get in the way of your Yuri. I'm going to leave. And the Dragon Girl's like, hell yes. and the Fox Girl's getting all embarrassed. And she's like, no. Oh, it's good. It's funny. It's great. And again, it's like they're doing this creative thing where it's like they're in the karaoke booth doing the marshmallows in the karaoke booth before they do the karaoke, right? And I like how, again, it's like this authenticity thing, because you also get to see like OBS and the Live 2D apps.
Yeah.
And
all
the stuff.
I was slightly disappointed they weren't going into more OBS stuff, but I read that this is adapted from a light novel, so it's impossible to go over settings in OBS in a light novel. So
yeah, they're probably just kind of glossing it just so they can get to the skits, right? So she basically, they have their little collab. It's all fun. And then she's walking home from the collab and she's thinking about, how she was an office worker and how she used to watch the original generation with the schoolgirl looking. And I agree with you. It does remind me a lot of like the design of the girl, the one that she looked up to, the original one, right? Reminds me very much of a Niji-Sanji type style of tuber, right?
Mm-hmm.
And people have been commenting also about like the rigging, about how stiff the rigging of the Live 2D models that they use in the show, and how that kind of reminds them of like 2016, right? Back when things were still like kind of, rigging was like not as advanced as it is now.
Kind of unrelated, but I remember that some indie VTuber was complaining that how rigging was super duper expensive, and that it used to be it used to be $50, and now it's a $500 minimum or something. And some rigger came on and they complained and kind of yelled, because you want so much more. You want to be able to turn left and right and up and down and back and forth and
you want to be able to have stuff in your hands and have toggles and things that come up on the thing, and you want to do all this nonsense, and it takes me like 50 hours to fucking rig all this, right?
It's no longer just a little bit left and right and eyes.
You blink every now and then, and your mouth moves, right?
The blinking is automatic anyway.
Yeah. So then to cap off the episode, she's like, okay, I'm going to do my pure stream for my mama, right? And the game that she decides to play is Getting Over It.
Actually, Getting Over It.
And it's actually, that's what I thought. I love the authenticity. It's like, it's actually legit just getting over it. Like, she's actually playing Getting Over It in the show. And she, like, starts screaming because she's meant to be like because she puts on the pure persona again, and she's
Pure
like,
princess,
and she tries to
snow
play
princess.
she tries to play it off like, oh, the character's been gone for a while, and now the character's back, right? She's like trying to play it off, and then she like starts playing the game, and she starts screaming into the mic to the point where I believe the implication is that she blew out the mic because she was so loud. So yeah, it was good. And then I like how the ED is like also just the live 2D model singing the karaoke.
Going back and forth
With
a
the
little
chat
bit.
being the credits. The chat's the credits. Oh, I love it. I love it. I think it's great.
Oh yeah, have you seen the credits of the credits getting over it?
Yeah. They're
OBS,
like, oh yeah,
they
live
credit...
2D and OBS. Yeah.
It's funny how they actually just say, no, we're actually using live 2D. We're actually crediting OBS.
Using OBS, yeah.
Actually getting over it. It's funny.
So yeah, no, this is a good one. This is a good one of the season. I'm actually really impressed with it. I think it's, if you're into VTubers, you'll probably get a lot out of it. And even if you're not into VTubers, it's quite funny. It's a funny show. Funny things are happening. So yeah, I'm on board. I'm totally on board. It's probably going to be the one that I, unless I pick some other stuff up this season, which I may or may not, depending on how busy I am. This is one I definitely want to keep up on because it's fucking great. It's so funny. So anyway,
one show you kind of should pick up on is Oshinoko.
Yes, oh yeah, that is one I do need to pick up on. Yeah, I've got the episodes downloaded, but
that's a good first step.
Yeah, I just haven't had the. I keep saying I'm gonna do it, but I just haven't. I keep saying I'm gonna do it, but I'm just like, man.
All right, Nretsew, the last episode. It's kind of hard to remember because I read the manga, so it's kind of. Oh no, where did the episode end? Am I spoiling stuff?
Oh no.
No, episode end. It says manga artist creator says. You are terrible at at writing. You don't understand my characters at all. Get away. Have you even read my manga? And the creator was like, no, he did read them. He did make a lot of time for it, but things didn't work out and big conflict. Meanwhile, because we haven't really checked in on them, Ruby is finally getting some regular jobs and regular interviews and whatnot, but not as much as other people in her class. So her first complaint is, Mom, give me more jobs.
Yeah. Give me job.
Give me job.
Job now.
But
give me job.
Her fellow idol member, Kana, is in a theater production, so she really can't do big concerts. So it's still like this her idol Ruby's idol stuff has to wait until Kana is done. Kind of all right, so this is the deal. But the whole production is coming to a standstill because the creator is going to rewrite the entire thing. Aqua hasn't ever gone to theaters, and this is his first experience. And to cut it short, Aqua goes to a theater and realizes, damn, this is complicated. A theater production isn't just a couple people on stage. There are set considerations, big monitor displays. The entire seating can rotate. So if you are the seating rotates, center looking straight ahead. Stuff happens in the center, then the seating rotates to the right, and the set on the right is already prepared. Then they do their set on the right, and then they switch around all the way, going to the left of the stage, and there's another set done. And then they go back to the middle, and the set has been rebuilt. Center set has been rebuilt for something else. A manga artist can't write that script.
Right.
So Aqua realizes it, and he's doing this kind of manipulative thing to push things around. Nretsew, this original manga artist, is a weekly has a weekly manga.
Right.
She's a perfectionist who does detailed backgrounds.
Ah.
Who,
Okay.
who has fired all her assistants because they weren't good enough. Who's been sleeping 2 hours a day, but not today because there's deadline for her manga is today.
This artist right here. Oh boy.
So the manga, the drama Sweet Today. The previous season, the that manga artist, good for last episode. She has experience with bad adaptations.
Ah.
So she's kind of, Aqua kind of pokes her and says, "Go to her."
Yeah, go help.
Go help, kinda.
She need the assistance.
Well, not even on that front. It's more like, hey, can you go to her? And then Aqua has some, mind games to make her talk to her again and convince her to, etc. But point is, manga artist sees, damn, you're a wreck. You're going to die, basically. You're dying.
Yeah, you might want to sort that out. You might want.
So
might want to not die.
You might want to not die. Hire and they have a fun fight. Nretsew. This weekly manga sells a lot more than the mangaka of Sweet Today. So she hangs that over her from, I know what I'm doing. I'm selling more than you.
Yeah, I got big number. You have small number, small PP.
Yeah. So she says that, right? She's sleep deprived, dying, but she says, "No, I'm better than you because I sell more." What do you say back to that? What would Kendrick Lamar say? Kendrick Lamar say then?
Well, at least I'm happy.
Now, a little bit different, Nretsew. She says you suck. Your manga sucks. I am the one who taught you. I know everything. Everything you learned from me. So they have a little bit of a fun manga fight, and it's kind of this drive to rewrite everything herself is revealed kind of to be a. She's more of a she's a fan, right? So she's a fan of Sweet Today. She worked on Sweet Today as an assistant. It was her favorite manga, big honor. And she's just very, very hurt that the manga got a bad adaptation. Our manga creator is fine with it. It was a bad adaptation. I'll live. The last episode was good.
I'll deal with it. Yeah.
However, she as a fan says, "No, how dare they? How dare they ever tarnish this? How ever tarnish what I love?" And she's kind of half convinced to go. Let the screenwriter who wrote this script do their job. Write it. Not before Aqua has slipped tickets to a theater play. Kind of to hammer extra in that, no, you don't know what you're doing. You can't write this. Because, she's still on a weekly schedule for manga. In an entire week of manga, she has to draw and write and rewrite an entire theater script and approve all the merchandise stuff and interviews and without the editor, without assistance still, Aqua is pulling some strings. But that's kind of the deal. So Nretsew, this is kind of a fun little arc where you go, hey, this is an adaptation. Hey, this is different. Yeah, it was hard. I didn't really have another choice. And it's alright, cool. The second episode, manga author says you suck. It's bad. How dare you to change? You've changed the characters. How dare you? Then you go, damn, that manga author is right. How dare he change the characters? But now again, Nretsew, it's oh no, he knows what he's doing. He's a good theater script writer, and she doesn't know what she's talking about. She can never write a theater script.
God. So it's just this never-ending. It's this never-ending fucking never-ending cycle.
Oh, who's right, Nretsew? Who's right in this conflict of adaptation?
No one.
No one is right. Anyway, that's Oshinoko. Nretsew, go watch it.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna pick it up at some point. Just
At
'cause
least,
I wanna continue it.
if not, every the 3 episode, just watch the past 2 episodes if you must.
Oh yeah, I'll probably get. I'll get onto it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
But
what do we got? What do we got?
That's the big shows. Now we're going into minor shows.
Rapid fire.
But not before Nretsew. I do.
We gotta kill the ones that didn't make it.
Die.
Oh no! Die.
And
Dead.
Die.
Oh no.
And these ones are left.
Okay.
So
you drop the Russian one then.
Yeah.
You're not down with the chicky bricky. Shaka. I don't know any Russian.
No, me neither. I only know a hat.
You're not down for the cute Russian GF or the sister that wants to ride the brother's dick.
It's funny, but I'm not. It's not so interesting that it wanted. It kept me watching. Let me do a little bit like this. Kind of enough. All right, let's go.
It happens.
Let's go
It
Japanese. Right to left.
happens.
Ichi harem, pseudo harem. Nretsew, it's a cute show.
It's a cute show. Cute show. Yeah, I've seen a few screen caps and clips here and there where she's pretending to be all the different girls.
Yeah,
fun
and
time.
it just keeps continuing to be that. One thing of note is that apparently already a year has passed. Or a half a year, or maybe.
Time fucking progress in my anime? What?
I have a feeling that the entire manga is getting adapted. Getting an adaptation. So the entire story. So we might end up with a couple at the end. Even though they're already totally a couple, right? So there's no... let's have kids. They're nobody will touch these twos. They are in a relationship. No one around them pretends they are not dating. They are dating. They went on how many dates? At least one, maybe 3. Right? So they went on 3 dates maybe this episode. And yet they are not considering themselves a couple. It's madness. Let's then go all the way up to the upper left. How to Become Ordinary. Nretsew, this is kind of a... Have you ever watched the Bakemonogataris?
I've heard of the Bakemonogataris, yes.
Oh,
yes,
alright. Nretsew, there's history here.
Oh, big histories.
People know each other.
Oh.
And they are not saying everything they are feeling. People have problems with each other. They are not speaking aloud.
Uh-oh.
Because, Nretsew, imagine the entire family is in the living room together. And you can, if you in your own family can gauge relationships with each other, where people are sitting, how they're feeling, depending on where they're sitting in the living room. What they're doing at the moment in the living room. This show kind of feels a lot like that. That but in this case, you know even less what's going on. Why is little brother sitting not in his usual chair, but a chair further away from everybody else? That kind of tension. There is a lot of interpersonal relationship tension that is not being spoken aloud. And that's interesting. And people are talking about promises being made, but not saying what those promises are. People are saying you have changed, but not saying who they usually were. That's what I mean with there's history. There's a history that you can feel, but is not expressed, and that's kind of interesting to see what's going on. Yeah, I have spoken a single word about the plot or anything, but that's kind of the.
It's got vibes.
It's big vibes at the moment. Maybe a plot will develop, but this is still kind of of course the introduction episodes. And let's go one down to the smallest poster. Dungeon people. Nretsew, the show is still cute.
Dungeon time. Yeah, it's dungeon times.
It's still being a cute show about how a dungeon would work mechanically, logistically. And it isn't afraid to throw in some serious subjects from time to time, but it's kind of about learning to trust people and rely on each other and becoming friends. In the end,
big broskies, big bros.
In between, yeah, I did adventuring in the guild and whatnot, but other people are scary because they might not, follow the rules of the adventurer guild and just try to steal from you. And then our main character,
big backstab.
And then our big main character says, flashback character walks around in the dungeon, a party of three says, "Hey, look, a woman, hey, 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 hey. Let's get her. She's all alone." And then she's a master thief, so she hides for a bit and then kills them all. So the show is doesn't shy away from some, bad things are happening sometimes. But it's all in all pretty fairly cute for the remainder of it.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
And lastly, there are too many losing heroines.
Oh no!
First episode, it's a latecomer in the season. Nretsew, the blue-haired girl, is the epitome of girl failure.
Oh yes, I think I've seen some clips of the blue-haired girl being.
Did you see her desperately drinking from a straw?
Yes, I did.
Do you know the context behind that?
I think it's like it's the boy that she's got a crush on.
Yeah.
The boy promised to marry her, but then he ended up going with someone else, and so she's now like, I want to kiss, direct kiss. And then there's the classmate that sees it and she freaks out.
Yeah.
And then she goes and sits next to the classmate and is like, I'm going to have to I'm gonna give you my entire sad backstory.
Indeed.
So yeah. It looks funny. It does look funny.
Yeah, and it's kind of, it's not even. It's kind of focusing on the not the secondary characters, but the tertiary characters of a romantic comedy, because it's not about the guy and his childhood friend, and new girl comes in, childhood friends get jealous, etc., etc. But eventually, main character settles with new girl, because that's the story. It's not even about the childhood friend herself. It's about unrelated guy to everything else is the main character, and it very much looks like the three girls in the center of the posters are all three characters who are losing their childhood friend to somebody else. The 10th girl is a sports girl, and she likes studious guy, but studious guy goes to a cram school with another girl. The two those two look kind of close to each other. So she's worried that he is dating her, even though she likes him. And
big. Oh no! my husband getting stolen. No.
Blue Hat Girl is from the opinion there are only two types of girls, Nretsew. There are the childhood friends, and there are the homewreckers.
And the Stacys and the Chads and the Giga Chads.
There are the childhood friends and the homewreckers.
Betas. The homewreckers.
Yeah, it's some neto narare hito blah whatever. But there are the thieves and the childhood friends, and there are the childhood friends, and the other girls are the thieves. From what I gather, Nretsew, this show is more about the falling in love, the youth experience of falling in love. And it's hard.
It is.
But it happens, and you have to learn to deal with the failure. It's kind of, again, another maybe point of it is that you know all those romantic romance shows, Nretsew? Too bad. The people lose too. So that's the too many losing heroines.
Seems good.
Yeah. I might upgrade one of these shows to a full on cover.
Yeah, we're playing the tournament of shows. survival of the shows.
Yeah, but like I said, I cannot screenshot pseudo harem because they're all in uniforms all of the time. Maybe too many losing heroines because they're doing funny jokes with faces and whatnot.
Yeah.
How to become ordinary is hard because they are talking a lot. They're just talking a lot. And sometimes they switch over to a more where they are in vibes land instead of actual physical land. But it's hard to make screenshots of, and then there's nothing much of action happening in Dungeon People. It's all about loot interactions. But maybe losing heroines, they have funny faces.
Yeah, maybe. Right. So I guess that kind of does it for anime for the time being.
You had something, right?
I have a thing to talk about. I have a thing because it happened. It finally happened. It's finally been announced that it's coming soon. It's coming soon! It's coming soon, boys! Let's fucking go! Girls Frontline 2, or as the English title they're going with is Elyxium 2, or whatever the fuck. Yuzong's cooking, man. He's doing some shit. I don't know what crack he's on with that name, but I guess we'll find out. Yeah, I'm hype. I'm very hype. Because as everyone knows, I'm a big Girls Frontline man. Probably my main gotcha poison of choice is my Girls Frontline. So yeah, it's been out in China for quite a while. There's been controversies, and there's been funny things coming out. I don't know if you've been seeing all the swimsuit skins for Suomi and Spaz 12.
Absolutely not. I am completely out of the gacha game.
Probably not. People have been going wild about those lately. But yes, we are finally getting global, and I am probably going to stream it. I have sorted the OBS audio out, hopefully, maybe. And I may or may not try to get some GFL2 streams in on the channel. So yeah, content is coming, boys. We're gonna do some reading. We're gonna do some reading on the stream as we read the GFL2 story. It's gonna be good. There's also GFL1's got an event coming up that's apparently very hype. That's going to be closed because they're getting close to closing off a lot of the storylines for the commander and some of the older characters. So as they move into GFL2, so very hype stuff happening in the GFL world at the moment. I'm quite excited. I'm excited, Ellie. I'm excited. Ooh yeah, it's good.
Yeah. I can't really comment because I barely know the gameplay of Frontline 1, let alone what
Yeah,
will...
well, yeah, because so GFL2 is kind of like XCOM. It's got this. It's like a top-down perspective, XCOM style move behind cover, use abilities to weaken things, kill things, right? Type strategy type thing. It's very it's looking very good. It's looking very good. We're gonna see how we go. So anywho, I think other than that, I don't think there's anything else in particular that I want to talk about. I don't know if you've got anything.
I did a stream once, and I kind of settled on a thumbnail style that I think is better than the last one. Did you see it?
I did see it. I think it looked alright.
Hey, I'll send over the thing so you can use the same style.
Yeah, you have to do it later. Yeah.
Like I said, I'm back on the Unicorn Overlord again. Mental barrier, mental block broken, so I can play that again. And of course, plenty of other game stuff that I play every now and again. I may stream more now that if we're going to stream whenever we want, then we might as well stream.
Yeah, we'll probably figure out.
If it becomes too much for subscriber boxes, even though it's only like 220, forgot our massive subscriber count. If it becomes actually an issue, we might set up an actual channel for games.
Yeah, a games channel. We'll have the games channel in the main.
230. We're going up, Nretsew.
Yeah, we're going up. We're going places.
Slowly.
Yay. But anyhow, yeah, we'll see how we go. We'll see how we go. It could be good. Man, there's been a lot of hype stuff in the gotcha games lately. I've been seeing the Blue Archive apparently had some hype stuff happen. There was a fight that happened that was quite hype. There's been a lot of interesting stuff going on. ZZZ came out. You know, it's been a good time. For
me myself, there's some strategy-ish games that are kind of interesting. There's Command and Conquer.
Yeah, I know about the Command and the Conquers. Yeah.
It's completely dead, but there's a game that's kind of just the same thing with different names. You know the Brotherhood of Nod and the Global Defense Initiative.
Yeah.
Was it? This is the what is it? And name. God damn, what's the names? Whatever. One of the fraction is, instead of the Global Defense Initiative, it's called the Global Defense Force. That's the level of name change you can expect.
Right.
And there's always more games to play, right?
Yeah, there's always.
I did finish a game of Victoria without Victoria 3 without my nation getting destroyed. But it actually went kind of terrible because Japan was still a shogunate nation without any proper industrialization or education. But it survived. I learned a lot that game.
All right, I guess that'll just about do us for the stream today then.
Yeah.
So it's been fun.
Next week, we will probably be able to go longer, although it is also a casual 3-hour stream.
Yeah, we've got a casual stream. Next time we might do a longer video. I mean, we had some good discussions this time around.
Yeah.
So kind of helped. So yeah, we'll catch you guys next time.
Later.
Bye.